You know, I was gonna say gay is this song, but honestly, I really like this song. I'm not gonna pretend to not like this song. All right, guys, I am getting situated here. I'm going to give a gigantic fat disclaimer right now as we are getting ready. I didn't sleep last night. So my younger son, don't know what happened. He was eating his dinner just fine. Then, of course, ran around outside like a maniac. Came back upstairs, and he spent the entire night throwing up. So none of us collectively got much sleep. That being said, I'm on finishing my third cup of coffee, and I had a cup of tea. So, so much for living healthy, right? It's only gay if you don't look me in the eyes. I think you have that backwards. I think it's gay if you look in the eyes. I could be wrong, I don't know. You know, I don't want to say it because it's really not. Here's the thing. It's not that I'm worried about what's quote unquote appropriate on my channel. I just think people expect that I usually try to keep things PG-13. But you know, there's that expression, it's only gay if your balls touch or something like that. So yeah, there you go. Again, I didn't make up the expression. Not my saying. Anyways, guys, happy Wednesday. Glad that you are coming in. Oh my God. I got gay on the brain. Glad that you are here to join us. Empress is getting ready right now. So hopefully in the next little bit, she'll be good to go. Remember, she is coming to us live from Bulgaria. So time difference is quite drastic between me and her. That being said, guys, I know too much gay. Not enough hetero in the chat going on. You bought Splinter Cell yesterday on GOG, and that version actually lets you progress past the tutorial mission, while the Uplay version crashes after the tutorial. Oh, interesting. Ooh, what's gayer, trans or femboys? Okay, if we're really gonna dive into that, trans is only gay if they're with the same gender. And I don't mean identified gender, I mean same biological gender, right? Same sex. So I would say femboys, which sounds crazy to say, but to be honest. You know the funny thing, I own 1 or 2 Splinter Cell games and I don't think I ever played them. You got the old CD-ROM version? Dude, okay, so I'm gonna talk about my own idiotic attempt at cable management in my computer. About 3 months ago, I took my CD drive out of my computer because in the current setup I had before I had my monitor here, I had my tower right here, right? And my tower was facing at an angle, so I couldn't even open my disk drive anyway. So I'm like, there's no point in having my drive, and that's one more plug-in that I have to make room for in the case. So after I had already taken the drive out, I then decided, wait a second, my whole setup would look so much better if my monitor that's here was over here, my PC was over here. So now it's like I could absolutely use that disk drive again, and now it's not put in. So I'm thinking when I buy another M2 SSD for my computer, I'll put the disk drive back in. I don't know. It's just too much to think about. Man, I'm gonna have to wake up. I am slurring really bad. Like, I swear to God, guys, I'm not drinking. This is coffee. This is caffeine. But yeah, they never prepare you when you're having kids that when they throw up, it goes straight into the carpet. They never aim for tile, they never aim for wood floors, they never aim for any surface that's cleanable. They go straight for the carpeting. And when it's Alfredo, fettuccine in the carpet, that's just the best thing ever. I was on my hands and knees for like an hour last night, so that's why there's been no videos for a couple days. Hey, Mahendra. Modern towers don't even have a way to put them in anymore. You get an external one. No, I mean, I have the slot for it. The only reason I took it out was because just for a little bit of extra cable management, right? Well, you know, Fizzy, she talks a lot about that on her channel. I don't have anything brought up here about 40K. I don't have anything on the docket, but if there's anything that she knows of that's going on recently, we can bring that up. How they're just, I mean, we've talked a lot of that stuff to death at this point. Once had potatoes with a weird spice and I puked. Wait. You gotta clarify. I need you to explain why under your desk. Why didn't you go like hold it in as much as you could and run like to your bathroom or kitchen floor, or kitchen sink or something? Unless you're on tile. If you're on tile or laminate or wood or something that's easily cleanable, that's fine. The worst part, honestly, is the fact that everything splatters. That's the grossest part of vomit. I'm at this point, like my wife, she has a hard time cleaning up vomit. She could do like diapers all day long, right? Me, I'm the vomit guy. It doesn't bother me too much. For whatever reason, I don't know. I'm also the bug squisher in my house, so that's typically my duty as well. Hey, but guys, I don't know if you guys saw. So, Expedition 33, I believe, is coming to Game Pass. As I was just lamenting on my last stream that Game Pass has absolutely no good games right now, and it's kind of a waste of money, I saw that this Expedition 33 is gonna be on Game Pass. It actually looks pretty interesting. I think it's, what, turn-based combat? So if you are not on Game Pass and you're thinking of picking it up, Instant Gaming's got it on sale. Standard edition for $34 and deluxe for $40. Only thing I'm aware of is the Women Adeptus Custodes. Yeah, there's been other stuff too, but I think that that's kind of like the most egregious thing currently going. You had no way to stop it? Oh, one of those. Oof. To me, that kind of sounds like alcohol. Since it's turn-based, it doesn't interest me. Yeah, I can understand that. So, my thing about turn-based is I haven't played a turn-based game since... Okay, I got Mario Rabbids years ago for my kid's PC. Or, not PC. Oh my god. Told you my brain is fried. For my kid's Switch. And the game is legitimately good. Really good for a turn-based game. And back in the day on my GameCube, I used to play a shit ton of turn-based games. A lot of them. Absolutely crazy. Game Pass pushes too many woke games. It does. It really does. Oh, it wasn't too bad to clean up. Oh, that's good. Is that Aiden? Who's up? Everybody's up. Oh, cool. Nobody's throwing up though, right? No. Okay, hey, no puke tonight yet. Whew, we're ahead of last night. Played the game a lot over the last few years. Which game were we talking about? No, I mean, so I typically don't go for turn-based combat. I know that Baldur's Gate 3 was turn-based, or... It was turn-based, right? I don't know. I have quite a few that I just never got around to playing. Call to Arms is not turn-based, but it's a real-time strategy. It was a violent reaction to a spice in the potatoes. Yeah, well, you have no control over that, I guess. Not Mahendra, so he's not sick. That's the weirdest part. He's not really sick. He just... We think he's lactose intolerant. And so I did fettuccine Alfredo for dinner last night. And after he ate, he went outside, ran around with his brother and sister, and by bedtime, he was puking. And then he was throwing up the entire night. I'm talking up every hour and a half. So I am on basically no sleep. Oh, past few days I've been hearing about this No Mercy game and the anti-woke people defending it. Yeah, Fizzy, here's the thing about that. I've talked about that game when I was on Words of Paradise's stream. I will never defend the game itself, as far as like the content in the game. It's just a very tough situation to be where you're like I have no problem with Steam if Steam wanted to remove the game. Now, the developer removed it themselves, right? But if Steam made the rule or the decision, I don't want this kind of content on my platform, it's my platform, Valve, whatever, said, you know, we're not going to sell it, I'd be like, okay, I don't care, that's fine. Valve made that decision. Now, in this case, the developer made the decision. But, you know, unfortunately, it gets into that really uncomfortable, slippery slope for a lot of people where you go, well, if a bunch of activists can ban that game, which I'm in theory okay with not existing because it's reprehensible and disgusting, then when do they come for the kind of games that I like to play? Or the games that just have attractive women, or the games that have violence in it? Because violence in games has always been the original scapegoat for trying to censor or ban video games, right? It's been that way for, God, like I feel like 30 plus years now. It's been an insane thing to watch. And it's really funny because I was raised in the generation that believed or perpetuated the idea that violence in video games can actually cause real world violence. Hey, guess what? I think 40K Empress is ready to go. Oh no, Mahendra, he's okay now. He's eating normally now, so we're just taking it easy. Let me get this music turned off, and then I'll bring Empress into the chat. If I can remember how to do this. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so tired. And we're not gonna do what we did when Moxie was here last Wednesday. I'm going to turn the volume up so you guys can actually hear Empress. It's amazing what you can do when you actually apply some knowledge, right? I used to say I'm anti-woke, but I don't know if that's a good group of people to attach myself to. Dude, there's a lot of off-the-wall opinions. And unfortunately, the entire anti-woke coalition, it kind of devolved the last 6 months because there were so many like factions and divisions within it. It was Al Gore's wife LARPing as a moral guide. But here's the problem, Cool Pig. The religious coalition, like my family, they all bought into it. Everybody in our church, everyone that I grew up with, they all bought into it, you know? I'm working on it, dude. Hang on. All right. And she has a fluffy friend, it looks like. So here we go. All right, you're here. I have to adjust this, though.
Great. Hi to everybody. With me, the 40K Empress and my Pomeranian Goldie. He wanted to join, just had to pick him up.
Yeah, my dog comes over at some point during the stream usually and kind of pesters me for about 3 minutes, gets in my lap, and then that's the extent of it. So I'm going to slide this like over. Going to do a little bit of this on the fly. There we go. You probably can't see what I'm doing, but I'm kind of centering you better in this picture.
Okay, yeah, I want to see the chat, though.
Well, let me see. I'm going to switch to a different screen and get you the display capture. I don't think there's actually chat on my display capture, unfortunately. You might have to pop open a second browser.
Okay.
Anyways, welcome. Glad you could join us. I'm sorry you have to get up so insanely early to get in here, but I do appreciate you making the effort to be here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm getting used to it by this point.
Well, for anybody who has not seen you before, tell everybody kind of what you do, what kind of videos you make, just kind of what you're all about, and I'll get switched to a different screen here.
Okie dokie, guys. So I have 3 channels by this point officially. One is the 40K Empress, which is my biggest channel for Warhammer 40K. Then I'm developing my gaming channel, which is the G Hammer Empress. Basically, what Thibaut does, gaming news. There's gonna be some other funny things there and gaming streams. And the third one, which I just started, is about superheroes and superhero essays, basically getting into deep dives about what is a superhero and other stuff that people usually arguing about. But me and my friend Logan are doing this channel together, and he is like a comic book specialist, and I'm kind of too. So yeah, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be very fun.
See, you're a professional nerd, whereas I just LARP as one.
Yeah, I'm a nerd in so many ways, in so many different areas.
All right, so I'm going to switch screens here on us, and that way I can get you the actual display capture in case you can't see what we're talking about. Hang on 1 second.
Okay,
and share.
I tried to find the stream, but I couldn't. I just clicked on it. Okay, we're talking about this. Okay. Can you just send me a link of the stream itself?
Oh, I can do that,
so
absolutely.
You can watch the chat.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I know that you've covered some of this stuff with Marathon. I have not watched your video yet on the characters themselves. How do you feel about the overall look of this game?
Well, it looks bland to me, like super flat and boring, basically. Also, the characters look super ugly and
androgynous.
Some of them, you're like, is this a man or a woman? Like, what the heck is this? I don't know.
So I've from what I've seen people talking about, I could be wrong about this, but based on what I'm hearing, I guess it's supposed to look that way. People are saying it's supposed to be in a time where basically humans are more robotic. They've kind of given up their... Here, I'm going to send the link to the chat or to the stream on Discord here. 1 sec.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
But the reason that they're androgynous is due to the fact that they've kind of given up their humanity. So, I mean, for me, that sounds like it's plausible, but that doesn't change the fact that the characters themselves look, I mean, less than appealing, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, why would if you're creator of a game, like why would you do that? It's the game has to have some kind of appeal to make you play it, you know, to want to be
Right.
in that shoe, in those shoes, is that character. So it's like, why would I want to be like a almost no non-human ugly looking character who shoots at things?
Well, and this
Like,
goes towards the argument of whether or not games should lean more in towards having heroes or letting people customize their characters. Now, I have mixed feelings on that. Obviously, like the best game to have a customizable character in is definitely an RPG. And if this is not an RPG, then heroes are fine. But again, I thought that they would have learned this lesson with Concord. Having a hero shooter where the heroes are uninspiring just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
no, it doesn't. And once again, I mean, it's not enough that the game doesn't have, you know, a story mode or anything, and then everything is ugly. Like, there's so many other games that are free and I can play. So why would I do that to myself? I don't get it. Like,
Right.
what would make me buy this game? Like, I'm a gamer for my whole life, and when I see something like this, I'm like, well, more generic stuff. Great.
It is. It's very generic. And unfortunately for a lot of people, even the ones that are saying, you know, that's the way it's supposed to look, I'm like, okay. So you could have like the most boring looking thing. That's like saying like a biscotti, you know, like an Italian cookie. It is supposed to be dry. But if you don't like dry cookies, you don't care that it's supposed to be that way. You're still not going to like it.
Yeah,
It
that's a
just,
good analogy.
and I just thought of that one. That just popped into my head.
Yeah, yeah.
Search the Artist Marathon. Who's the Artist Marathon? Is that a band or an actual like artist?
Yeah, I mean, whoever came up with these characters or something. Also, the one character that looks like a woman in the trailer looks like one of those, let's say, early 2000s, like a club kind of a girl.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think it's
You
a
know?
guy, right?
No, I think that's a girl, but the point is
Okay.
that they're
Yeah.
going for this cool look from the early 2000s. And it's like, well, this could be a kind of a lesbian character or just a god girl, but with white hair. So it's like the opposite of god. It's like a negative.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, my brain is like, I cannot compute this. This is weird. You know, my alerts are coming out like, beam, beam, beam. That's stupid.
Well, I mean, like my criticism of the game looking at it is not just the fact that it's another extraction shooter. Well, we already have a lot of extraction shooters on the market, and people tend to forget about the fact that even games like Hunt Showdown, although Dark and Darker when it launched, it's not a shooter, but it's a first-person extraction game. Obviously, games like Marauders, Escape from Tarkov, there's a lot of them. Even Call of Duty added an extraction mode, which isn't a bad game mode, to be honest. I played DMZ, a couple of times. I thought it was okay compared to like Tarkov. But unfortunately, I think people are kind of over everything having to be an extraction shooter. And it's not the fact that it's, for me, I don't think it's the fact that it's a paid game, because again, all extraction shooters I can think of right now have all been paid games, except for the DMZ mode on Call of Duty. It's the fact that this one just looks so generic. And my issue being like not just the characters or the environment, but even the weapons look like they're just block models. They don't look finished. They just look they look like stand-ins. It looks like it's game footage from a game that's not done yet. And the game comes out in like 5 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything looks very simple, and I compare it in my video to vector graphics, and
Right.
those graphics are kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but if you ever worked with such a software like vectors and stuff, you would know that that's like an endless image. I mean, it doesn't have pixels when it's in that form, and it's just very smooth and all those things. It's hard to
Exactly.
explain,
It's
but
smooth
it
and very
looks simple.
sterile and lifeless, very bland. So
Yeah, soulless. Yeah.
I'm going to catch up on the chat a little bit. Fizzy
Okay.
says, I didn't play the original game back in 1994, but I heard it was good. Yeah, I never played the original Marathon either, but that one came out on the Macintosh in 1994. Long time ago.
Most people today were not alive then. I mean, most gamers probably.
Quite a substantial amount of them, I believe.
Or at least you were so little that you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I mean, so in '94 I was 8 years old. So for me personally, I remember when the Macintosh computer was a big thing, and we had games like Oregon Trail and a couple other games like that that were pretty big at the time. Good shooters are rare, 100%. I mean, shooters in general are just saturated genre, anyways. I mean, yeah, it's shooters right now are almost a dime a dozen to the point where between the free to play ones and the hero shooters and the ones that aren't necessarily the most expensive games, like again, Steam has so many games that are always available on sale, either through different sales seasonally or through third party websites. Nobody is really needing to spend that much money to have a decent shooter experience. I mean, my second most played game on Steam is Insurgency Sandstorm, which is not a well-known shooter. The game's been around for like 7 years.
Oh
And,
yeah,
and it's still it's a great game. So it's my go-to relaxation game. So
yeah. Also, I take these games literally as a 10, 50 minutes stress relief. Like I go in, I play a quick play, and then I'm out. I get what I want, and I just get, it's not something that can substitute the game with story or whatever. It's just very like fast food. So it's a fast food game.
Exactly. No, and that's the thing about like a game like Insurgency or Starship Troopers Extermination. I tell myself, oh, I'll just do one quick 15, 20-minute round and just be done for the night. And then it's like an hour and a half later. I'm like, I'm still having a terrible time, but I don't want to give up.
Yeah, I stopped caring about winning matches long time ago. I mean, I had some friends that were like crazy about. They're like, we're losing, we're losing. I'm like, relax, we're in a quick play. I do what I can. I mean, I always do what I can. But if we're losing, I'm not gonna break my keyboard about it. Come on.
Oh no, see, I don't get angry about it. That's my oldest son. But for me, I definitely don't want to be at the very bottom of the leaderboard. Hey, fight me financially. For me, Bungie has lost all trust with the monetization of Destiny 2. Now, wasn't Destiny 2 when it first launched? Was it always free to play, but the DLC was paid?
It was paid.
It was paid. Okay.
Yeah. I got the key from some company back then, and then all of a sudden, I'm not sure how much time have passed, but it got to be free. So I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, here's the thing about that too. I can almost defend games going from paid to free to play over a certain amount of time, because there are so many things in life that if you buy something when it's brand new, it's going to cost, like, again, an insane amount of money. And then over the years, you'll get something on clearance or on sale. And if you have patience, you can usually get things for a fraction of their original price. So in theory, I understand, especially given that they want to get more players and sell the microtransactions and skins and all that, making a paid game free after a while. But it definitely, there's no way to do it without it feeling like a slap in the face to people who paid full price day one.
Yeah, I didn't, but it still was like that. Well, what if I paid for this thing,
That's what happens to me when I buy a game on Steam on sale and then I get it for free on Epic. I'm like, well, I like Steam better. I don't even use Epic except for collecting free games I'll never play. So now I have two copies of it, one that I paid like $4 for and one that's free. So whatever.
Yeah, I also collect games on Epic, but never played.
I don't know anybody who actually uses Epic. All right. So this one here came out a few days ago. Former Concord dev says it was gut-wrenching to see our project fail, but urges players not to judge Marathon too soon. To call this game a failure before it's even out is wild to me. Now, I don't know too many people who are calling the game a failure.
Yeah, we just call it woke.
I don't even know what to call it. Like at this point, so the woke thing actually is really interesting. I wanted to talk to you about this because I was watching, I don't know if you know Nure. She's Spanish. She's the one that talked to the original leaker about Dragon Age Velgard. He was a playtester, and he started talking about like the non-binary stuff in the game. And
no, I'm not familiar with her.
Okay, so she's much more on like the not anti-woke, but she doesn't want wokeness to ruin her story. She doesn't want wokeness to ruin her game. So she doesn't mind like wokeness in games, but she wants to have a good game experience in spite of all that. So she recently played South of Midnight, and her takeaway was the game's not woke, it's just bad. Okay? So I was thinking about it, I'm like, well, I could argue that there are parts of it that are done because of, wokeness, the representation in the game or whatnot. She's got an evil white grandmother, and then of course, like, there's like little things here and there. But the majority of people just said the game wasn't woke, it was just not enjoyable. It was just boring, right? So it goes to that argument of, can you have a a game made by woke people that's still good, or can you have a game that has wokeness that's still enjoyable in spite of it? Or is the ultimate problem that woke people generally make bad products?
Well, let's not forget that the South of Midnight before actually had this finished look. The character was white, like the main character was white.
Right, and I've heard the argument that might be something where it was just a placeholder, that it wasn't properly rendered yet. And again, who's even going to know at this point? But a bigger, like more egregious thing that they did do that we know actually did happen was that the motion capture actress who was doing the voice lines and everything else, who was black, got swapped out for another actress because Sweet Baby Inc. said she didn't sound black enough.
Oh, okay, then racist.
Yeah, exactly. So again, go back to that whole "you don't sound black" thing, which again, I've been told as a white person, you can't say somebody sounds black. So
yeah,
for me,
they're racist towards themselves. I mean, they're racist towards this woman, literally, because they have this perception that black people sound just in this particular way, and if you don't, then you gotta be fired. Like, what the heck? Then you are supporting stereotypes, which they're true, a lot of the stereotypes, but you definitely shouldn't freaking like fire people for that.
No, it's unfortunate because I always say stereotypes have a reason that they exist, right? Stereotypes come from somewhere. It's not just based on bigotry and racism. It's like, no, stereotypes are maybe an exaggeration of the truth, but there is always some truth to them. So.
Yeah, sorry about the barking.
Oh, you're good. The main character in South of Midnight's a Kim Blair stand-in. That I believe 100%.
I just have to wait before the barking stops.
Oh, you're good.
So you can talk.
I got told before by people I don't sound like my race. Well, again, I don't personally care if somebody says I sound white. I don't understand why this has to be like that big of a deal for some people. But man, he's just a little fluff ball.
Oh yes, he's so freaking cute. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's some doggy barking outside. That's why it's the whole thing. And my corgi is like, no, that's not having it.
That's what always sets mine off. He hears anything outside, he freaks out. So yeah, I mean, again, some people are saying, activists, woke people are always going to inject their ideology into games, and that's true. There's a lot of them that use it as a vehicle. And then there's the argument that you have a lot of the people who have more of that mindset where if they were hired for reasons being their gender, their race, their orientation, they may not have been the best person for the job because they were hired for other factors than their qualifications. So it's just a combination of factors, really. There's a lot of ways you could look at it. But at the end of the day, I don't think the best way to make a video game is to have activist-minded people making it. Because again, you never know what you're going to get with these people.
Oh no, you're always gonna get something like that. Something's gonna be wrong, something's going to be off, and something's going to be soulless. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, they just don't have any nuance. And just before the stream, actually, I watched an essay about how The Last of Us, the show, is different from The Last of Us, the video game, and I don't watch the show anymore. I stopped like before the end of the first season because why would I watch that? I know the whole game. And I know the second game, and it's really unpleasant.
Exactly. Why would you watch it knowing how it's going to end? Exactly.
Yeah, and the showrunner said that love is not all good. There's, toxic love, and it's bad. And I'm like, if you are saying that love is not good and there's bad love, then you don't know what love is. And toxic love is not love, period. You don't know the essence of love if you don't know what love is about then.
Oh, so, that's crazy. Wow.
Now I'm pissed off. And then he said something else that was so stupid after that. But yeah, I'm going to make an essay for that because if we have creators like showrunners that think in this cynical manner, they're supposed to present real stuff on screen, emotion, all of that. And he's seeing everything through this cynical lens. We're not going to get any genuine representation of people's interactions. He's just going to say that everybody are evil and they're shooting each other, and that's because of love. No, that's because those people have moral compasses also. Like, for example, I'm just going to give you a very quick example. There's some criminals, of course, in this world, and sometimes their relatives defend them even if we know that they're guilty. Like we had cases here in Bulgaria where 2 people now killed a ton of animals in a sadistic way. we're
Oh, of
dealing with that
course.
for the past few months, and their parents are protecting them and are pleading with judges and people. Well, if I know that my relative has done something bad, I don't care if they're my relative, I don't care if they're my mom, my brother. If you're freaking evil, you are evil. I'm done with you. You're never gonna see me again.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel exactly this. We were just talking about this because there's a lot of people who would cover for a relative despite what they do, and I'm like, no, if my kid did something abhorrent, like really truly evil, I'm sorry, you got to go serve the time. There's just no way I'd be okay with that. So
Exactly.
uh,
Yeah. So love does not make you stupid. You also have other qualities in you. So no matter how much you love your child, if it gutted 500 animals for money, uh, they freaking have to die.
I mean, there's just again, yeah, some people would say that that's
Horrible
just
death.
extreme, but it is kind of the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, what they've done is sadistic and satanic, and I don't want to talk about it. It's one of the worst things that we ever had because we don't usually have such types of crimes here.
Exactly.
But it's a dark web. They sell videos how they tortured animals. I mean, they don't deserve to live at all. So that's it.
Based 40K Empress. Yeah, I'd say that's fairly based.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we don't really have a filter here in Bulgaria because we're not constrained in anything. Like I will not like hold my tongue if I say that somebody deserves something. I'm just gonna say it.
Hey, I like that we say that's calling a spade over here. So I can appreciate that. Hey, Vernum. So we have obviously Concord trying to defend Marathon. Now I look at this and go, I forgot for a minute that Sony had bought Bungie. And then, of course, Firewalk Studio was also owned by Sony. So for me, I kind of look at this and go, maybe this has to do with them trying to defend another Sony-owned studio. I mean, who knows what the reason is behind it? And again, I don't know that I've seen anything from Marathon that is on the same level as Concord. All I would say is I think it suffers from the same issue that it's launching at a time that, given the way that it looks, the fact that we have so many first-person shooters, the fact that it's another hero shooter, it's not a free game, yada yada, it's just going to have the same issues as Concord, where it's releasing to an audience of nobody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a comment that I see. I have to talk about it.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. So it's very hard to read from here. Pink Gaming says Bulgaria, Sofia's beautiful city, not safe but beautiful. Actually, it's pretty freaking safe, especially when you compare it to most cities on Earth. You 99% of the time of your whole life you never see crime. Yeah, if you go in the center, you can get pickpocket, but that's like 1 in every 30 years that maybe that's gonna happen to you. Or if you go on a subway, one and like I mean it's very hard to actually see or experience crime here. Thank God. So yes, I don't know where is this coming from. That's not safe because I'm from the capital. I'm a capital girl, so I know all about it basically.
It's probably a lot safer than most cities here in the US, I'll say that.
Yeah, you can you can walk at nighttime. Maybe you will never hear about somebody breaking in an apartment. I mean, it's literally like one in a 20 years. Yeah.
Well, see, that's pretty awesome. I live in a relatively safe place, but I don't live in a big city. So for me, it's like, okay, I feel pretty isolated from some of the other, because I live in Washington State, and so Washington, because we have Seattle and a lot of areas, that are bigger cities. So unfortunately, we get lumped in with like a lot of the crazy blue-haired leftist, ideology and all that crap. Even
That's
though,
very unfortunate. Oh,
yeah,
he actually said that he got robbed by gypsies twice. Yeah, gypsies can rob you, but again, you just were in a very bad place, maybe in a bad neighborhood where there are gypsies. Yeah, you gotta be more careful there. But if you don't go there, if you just live with, normal white people, which maybe sounds racist, but that is how it is. That's really how it is. Gypsies are doing freaking crime. There's like 5 gypsies in whole Sofia that are normal people, and they're cultivated, and they work, and they're normal, they're intelligent, but everyone else are freaking criminals, and that's how it is. But you don't go to them. I mean, I'm sorry that's happened. Really, it's possible, but it's just rare. Still.
yeah, Fizzy, Sega did have a shooter called Hyenas that they canceled. I played the alpha for that game. I actually had to sign an NDA at the time. And this is before I was even doing much on YouTube. This was just, I think that game came out when I was still mainly just like streaming games. And I played the alpha for like an hour and I thought it looked terrible because they had like, the characters were all like these weird looking androgynous, diverse. One was actually a drag queen character. I'm not even kidding. That was my indications like, oh, this game's going to be crap. And it was an extraction shooter, another one.
What? A drag queen?
Yeah, and Sega spent $70 million on that game and it never released. They pulled the plug on it.
Oh my God. That's...
Yeah.
Yeah, we just call them travestites here.
Well, I mean, we used to call them transvestites here in this country, but now it's like drag queen has been lumped in with transgender, which has been lumped in with like LGBT, and it's like everything's gotten so confusing over here. It's just insane.
Yeah, I know, but we have jokes about that. It's like, hey, are you a gender? Gender became a word for like mixed gender person.
Exactly. If this is their idea of futuristic, then I don't want to live in a future designed by them. It looks plastic as hell. Agreed. That's exactly how a lot of it looks. So this was on a Reddit post, but it was allegedly a developer from Concord said, after reading the comments about Marathon being Concord 2.0 on Reddit, YouTube, and Twitch, I wanted to share a little insight into what a 40-year-old man is feeling after dedicating a large portion of his life to making video games. Concord failed to inspire players. Well, that's putting it like super mildly. Yeah. And the message was heard loud and clear. It was gut-wrenching to see our project fail and be the laughingstock of many online. I've learned that failure is what drives me to succeed. Now, failure is supposed to be, well, you're supposed to learn from failures, but spending, at this point, hundreds of millions of dollars on failures, that's when it's time to get a different job, I think. At least for some of the people behind like the creative decision-making. And again, we heard about how this game had toxic positivity, right? With Concord, they weren't allowed to say anything negative about it. Those people are the ones who need to find a new job.
Yeah. I mean, if you made a freaking ugly game that nobody wanted to play, you should think about your life choices.
Hey, DB Wild, I visited the state of Washington and had an attempted mugging by a short Italian fella who appeared to be cosplaying as King Leonidas from 300. I got away by picking on his somewhat gay voice. I did not attempt to pickpocket you. What are you talking about? Oh, that's too funny though. So why games like Schedule 1 do well. I actually have Schedule 1 brought up here, but we'll see if we have time to get to that. So he says no one feels as bad as the people who put their time on the line hoping it will entertain the masses of gamers around the globe. Of course not. We're not going to feel bad, especially people who didn't spend money on it, because there was nothing that we didn't lose anything, out of our day, or we didn't lose years of our lives working on it.
Yeah, I mean, they're catering to two people. So it's like, hey, buy our game. Buy our game. Well, two people, no, not gonna work.
Well, I mean, yeah, you say two, but it really wasn't many more. I think their 24-hour peak when it launched was like 2,000 people.
Yeah, 2,000 people around the world. It's like, what? I don't know. If you just spread them around, it's really going to be like two people that you're going to experience throughout your life, like in real life, maybe.
Exactly.
In that kind of a way.
So in response to this, Asmongold had said some games deserve to be aborted. Concord is the reason why I'm pro-choice. Okay, that's kind of funny. Marathon looks okay, but the characters look over-designed and are not visually appealing. And he's gotten a lot of pushback about this because the easy response by a lot of people when you say that the characters are not appealing is they'll tell you, oh, well, you just don't think they're sexy enough, or you just have to have everything sexualized. They always take it that far, right?
They're not aesthetically pleasing. Aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't have to be about sexuality at all. Like they just always go there, All
right, Ryan, you have a good night, buddy. Yeah, no, so it's always that. That's like what they deflect to because they can't take valid criticism. When you say something is just not appealing, it's like a piece of art or a painting, like with modern art these days. It's not designed to be appealing, and that's why nobody likes it. Modern art is designed to be hideous, and that's why people mock it.
Yeah, it's like an episode of Johnny Bravo where he's just looking at the picture and it's just black.
Exactly,
and there's one like white square in the middle, and people are like, wow. It's amazing. I'm like, what?
Yeah, or you see like the modern art where it's somebody doing some sort of interpretive thing. It's just like, okay, this is like throwing a bucket of dirt on a wall and smearing it around their hands.
And then it's just like, Wow, again, I mean, how much talent does it take to do this? None.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly. So I'm not going to bother playing this with sound because you won't be able to hear it. I still have to figure out. I didn't have time to mess around with Streamlabs to figure out how to send audio to my guest. But basically, Asmongold doubled down on this and said that Marathon needs to make sure that all the female characters in the game are bangable. You know, saying it's because a shooter game is primarily made for men. I
That's kind of out there. I mean, it's a bit extreme.
It's a bit extreme.
Yeah.
But I understand his mindset on this. So my take on it was, and I've said this before, I don't remember if we talked about the Lords of the Fallen game, where the developer, Marek Taminsky, I think his name is, he's been doing a big push to poll people online and ask them what they want in games. Do you want body type A and B, or do you want male and female? Do you want attractive characters, or do you want unattractive characters? And of course, it's always male and female and attractive characters. And I kind of feel the same way about that as I do with this. I'm okay with unattractive characters if it makes sense. I'm okay with ugly characters if it fits the role, right? I don't want some big monster villain to be some attractive woman. It needs to look gigantic and hideous and terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. It's case by case basis, but really, as a female gamer, which sounds weird, I just want my female characters to look super attractive as well. It's just that it's also again depends on the situation. I mean, really, but if you want to make them like super all over the top sexy like Elvira or something, just not gonna fit most settings.
No, and there are games where that works, and most of them are like the anime waifu games, and that's fine because there are a certain number of people who play those. But what he does say in this video, and again, I'm not going to bother playing it because we're just going to kind of talk about it anyways, is that women tend to want to cosplay as the sexy characters. Men like looking at the sexy characters. So basically, it appeals to both genders due to the fact that both genders can see something reflected in that they enjoy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, also an artist. I mean, I drew people since I was like 5, and I will never draw someone that's not attractive if it's not on purpose for a comic book or something like that.
Exactly. GDR with the 10 says sex sells point blank. Yeah, and again, the question is how far you take it, but no, 100% agreed. But the game is outdated in looks when you consider the price of games and game passes and loot boxes, especially with the tech that is out there. GDR, you're not wrong. Thanks for the 10. Appreciate it. So, like I've said, we've talked about the whole situation with the character in Doom, where Yorch Torch was saying Doom is woke because this woman doesn't look hot enough, right? It doesn't look like a sexy sorceress elf chick. It looks like a woman in a military uniform. And it's like, it wouldn't make sense for a super sexualized woman to exist in a Doom universe.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you still can't have somebody who looks feminine or female. It's all about it, like to what degree, right? So, do I think the characters need to be affable? No, I don't. I think he was putting that in like the most blunt context possible. But
no, I think that he's exaggerating that she looks very, very bad, but actually she looked beautiful. She just had a bit more of a developed jaw, which I know that it's an issue. I also point that out. But in this case of this particular character, she looked beautiful and at the same time didn't look that butch.
Right.
I mean, because there's many women like Abby from The Last of Us who has nothing feminine about them. Their faces are not beautiful. You can still have a square jaw as Oba and be beautiful. A lot of models are like that in real life. So it's just the features, the lips. She was beautiful. It's not
when I look at Abby, she looks like a man.
Right.
Abby looks like a man. I mean, when I look at that character model, it looks like if you told me that this was a trans woman, I'd believe it. Because she's just so ugly. It's a very hideous looking character. And it's so funny because the woman that they cast to play Abby in the second season
doesn't look like that.
No, and she would have actually done very well playing as Ellie. I guess that she was one of the names that was thrown out there for Ellie for the first season, but she was busy filming something else. I don't know. I didn't play the games. I didn't watch the show. Somebody had mentioned Pedro Pascal in the chat, and it's like, yeah, I can't stand Pedro Pascal. It irritates the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I thought he's a terrible cast for Joel. It's like Joel needed to be some rugged, handsome guy, and then you got Pedro Pascal. I'm like, really?
Exactly. I don't get his appeal. I mean, I watch Grace Randall from time to time. You know who she is? Yeah, the movie.
Right.
I mean, she does movies, but she's very annoying with her takes. Like, I have been calling her out for years, and other people as well. Mr. H reviews more recently. He even has a segment in his show where he's like the stupid shit that Gay Rendo said.
Exactly.
So yeah, she's very fascinated with. I just forgot his name.
Oh, Pedro Pascal, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh, he's so sexy. I'm like, how? How?
Well, there's a theory that's been floated out there that birth control and different medications have increased the estrogen level in men by having them in the water, and that the women's brains are being altered to be attracted to men that have like a higher estrogen level. It's some crazy conspiracy, right? But it would almost make sense.
Birth control, so you have to take that at mass. I mean, it's very unhealthy. It
Yeah.
can totally screw you up.
Yeah, so it's really funny because you start seeing like who the hot guys are in Hollywood, and you go, well, as a man, I can't objectively look at this guy and go, he's attractive. Like you look at Henry Cavill, you go, okay, Henry Cavill is objectively attractive. Guys like Mel Gibson back in the day, Harrison Ford, all these actors in their prime were objectively good-looking men. I look at Pedro Pascal or Timothée Chalamet, I'm like, these guys look very feminine, very soy, for lack of a better word.
Well, Pedro Pascal looked better when he was in Game of Thrones, but then he got old so fast.
He
I'm
started
what
late
the
in life,
hell
yeah.
with this guy? Still, I didn't consider him attractive, but at least he looked decent. Now he looks like truck went over him
Right.
like many times.
And
Like,
Mr.
what?
Hardcore Mode for 5 says if looks didn't matter, Tinder would be viable for men. Yeah, it's really funny that, well, I don't know, Empress, let me ask you about that, because women tend to care more about a guy's personality, as they say, and men are a lot of times more like they notice a person's appearance first, whereas a woman cares more about, like, can the man laugh, can he be a provider, protect, the usual stereotypes. Why is it then that there's situations where women on Tinder are just looking for the most attractive guy?
Maybe they are dissociating like reality, internet reality with reality. I mean, I'm not on Tinder. So,
Oh no, I'm just saying it's just curious because yeah, I mean, they say that when it comes to like men that sleep around versus women, that it's like 10% of men have access to much like 50% of women. It's some crazy weird number. And again, I'm not single, so I don't care. I'm not out there dating. It's like whatever. But I just find it very fascinating that traditionally you hear that women care more about a guy's personality and his character, and men are definitely more. Again, why this even matters is because men care about things that are visually stimulating, whether it's explosions or guns or attractive women.
I do too. I do too.
Well, sure, yeah.
I mean, I can tell you that, I personally, of course, have my standards, but, a man has to be able to take care of himself. And because I'm taking care of myself. So I cannot be with someone that is just like, yeah, I'm going to eat whatever I want, not going to have any discipline at all, just going to look like crap. No, you got to sustain yourself. You got to respect yourself. But then again, women can also be very, very superficial. It's just about the context. If a girl just wants to bang guys around just like men do, she will just focus on the looks and not care about anything else.
That is true,
like
yeah.
a real partner, then she's gonna be a lot more, she's gonna have actual principles then.
Oh no, I got them all started on the what's in the water. Yeah, no, guys, I buy into most of that they can't filter most of that out of the water 100%.
Yeah, you just drink mineral water if you can find that.
Exactly.
And you just filter it, there's many good filters now.
Not much of a conspiracy given the foods we've had for the last few decades with all the growth hormones. Yeah, actually, 40K Empress has got me now where I ordered this stuff. It's called propolis extract, and it smells terrible.
Oh, yes, but it's great.
So I'm going to try that in the morning, yeah.
You get used to it. Did you actually had some of it?
No, because I got home super late, so it's like I'm going to put it in some water first thing in the morning and try that.
Yeah, just this much of water. Just drink it like a shot,
Oh yeah. Well,
You're
I don't.
done. It's gonna take a second. It's not that bad, really.
Oh no, I'm sure I've drank far worse stuff, but that's gonna be very interesting because again, having the Crohn's disease, I'm always looking for things that are good for the immune system and anti-inflammatory, so we'll give that a shot. But yeah, honestly, the more I talk about like what's in our food, and by the way, Mr. Hardcore Mode, if I didn't say thank you, thanks again for the 5, appreciate it, buddy. Trying to look for things that are more holistic. So
Exactly.
right.
And we know all about that in Bulgaria because we have a ton of herbs. There's very rich nature here. A ton of herbs.
So from Marathon's art director, he responded to criticism about the character design, said everyone is entitled to their take, there's room for both and more, which is great to hear. I mean, this reminds me of what I played on Hyenas to a certain extent. It's just visually, it's a mess.
Yeah, it looks like somebody took a cosplayer, then blew them up in the backyard.
Right. So the thing about this is I don't mind things like this as like optional cosmetics. Like there are plenty of characters in games that have terrifying skins like Apex Legends or Call of Duty, where if you want those skins, you like that look, you can purchase those or unlock those on a battle pass, and that's totally up to you. But using this as a launch skin, like the default for a character, it's kind of terrifying. You go from all the other characters look extremely bland, the environment's very bland, and then you see this and you go, what the hell am I looking at? It's just so busy.
Yeah, I don't want to see that at night, like or ever, not even on Halloween.
A Chinese cat girl, maybe. But yeah, no, it looks like they stole the idea from Hyenas. It's absolutely terrifying. Hodor says some extract. No. It's called propolis. It's made from bee secretions, as I understand it.
Yeah, exactly. One of the most healthy things on Earth. They actually use propolis to wrap around the beehive so it can protect it from radiation even.
So hey, there you go. There you go. I think she had a seizure putting on the makeup. That's about what it looks like. So this person here said, will I get cooked for saying I prefer the design of the character on the left over the one on the right? Right is just too loud. Now the one on the left, it's not a full picture, but it's the one that we've seen for like months. I think she's supposed to be Asian with the white goggles. And again, this rifle is so boring looking. I know the picture doesn't have much to see there, but it's a very boring looking gun.
Yeah, there's no details, and like where's the texture? Well, we see in the game maybe there's some texture, but right now everything just looks smooth as butter and not in a good way.
No, DB Wild, it's not honey.
No, but it's from the beehive as well.
Yeah, honey is also anti-inflammatory, as I understand it.
Oh yes, very, very much. There's also another thing that's like a bee dust. I have to check the original, the name in English, but it's like bee dust. Basically, you eat it, and it's even a lot more healthy than honey. Just contains more of what honey contains. Amazing stuff.
See, we are having video game conversations and learning something at the same time.
Yeah, no harm in that. Better than just being stupid and woke.
Exactly. Right is just too loud. Every part of her body has to have some sort of design to it. It's just so unappealing. And then the art director, I think it's the art director, says no cooking happening today. Everyone's entitled to their take. There's room for both and more. So again, he seems to be the only person, this Joseph Cross guy, who has a relatively chill take on it, because everyone else that I've interacted with, if I go and find some random account who's promoting the game, I'm already blocked. I'm not even kidding. Because I've criticized the game on YouTube and Twitter, anybody that I've run into that is associated with the game Marathon already has me blocked.
Jesus, how did they know? They go to search for all the content creators.
I don't know.
Weird. You know what was weirder? I think it's 1 year ago or 2 years ago where they decided to announce this Cleopatra Netflix series, and I talked about it, and the actress has me blocked on Twitter, and I'm like, how did you know?
It doesn't surprise me. The same thing happened with the voice actress from Ghost of Yote. She has me and a whole bunch of people blocked. And the thing about her is a lot of people have been like, well, you guys like to harass these people. I'm like, well, first off, I talk about people. I don't harass anybody. I don't ever go out of my way to go after anyone.
I would never write on Twitter to this person and be like, hey, you're stupid or something. Never.
Right, and I'm a very chill person. I don't try to rile people up and send them to other people's way. It's however people take my information and react to it is entirely on them. But at the end of the day, the thing about the actress Erika Ishii, who does the voice of the character in Ghost of Yotei, she's a super left-wing activist. Everything that she's in, she has to play lesbian, bisexual, non-binary, whatever. So part of my thinking is they're going to make the character in Ghost of Yotei a lesbian, bisexual, non-binary, because that's exactly who the actress is. So
Yeah, and it's very bad trend because since maybe 6 or 7 years ago, maybe more, there's this trend like throughout all Hollywood end games that now the actors that are not obligated to actually play their character. No, now the actors have to be the character. So it's like instead of you getting into the role, the character has to like accommodate for you, like Aquaman, Jason Momoa, like this case now with this actress, many more. I'm like, you're the actor, you play the role. There's many gay actors that play straight. What is this?
Yeah, and
You're not
it's
doing the
funny.
job.
You see this more with regular traditional actors where you'll have a gay actor play straight, a straight actor play gay, and it seems to be acceptable. But for some weird reason, voice actors are so insanely liberal that there's this idea now where you cannot voice somebody who's not your gender, your sexual orientation, and your ethnicity. And unfortunately, what happens there is the voice actor then bleeds over into the character in the game because they either write the character for a specific voice actor in mind, knowing everything about that voice actor, or that voice actor has an undue amount of influence over the character. And everyone's like, oh, voice actors have no control over how a character's written, unless they're writing a character specifically to match the actor that they're casting, which does also happen.
Yeah, they all have too much. Like David Cornsweet said, Superman, he decided to pitch to James Gunn this awful, awful suit, and they're gonna make Superman soy.
Oh, it looks
And
terrible.
they already did. They already did. He's a laughing stock of the whole internet, and I'm just disgusted because that's my favorite superhero. And by the way, in the chat, Cleopatra was Greek. Egypt was lying all this time. No, they are saying she's Greek. They know very well that she's Greek. They're not lying. Netflix was. They're like, she is black because people are black in Egypt. Yes, there were black people in Egypt, but Egyptians were not freaking black. First and second, she was Greek, so she's not even Egyptian, not even a little bit. So yeah, white is me. White is me. So end of story,
Yes, I'm a fellow white, unless I go out in the sun. In that case, I turn pink. Otherwise, I'm still pretty white. Hey, NS, yes, there is a woman on your screen besides me. I have not transitioned. How do you do, my lady? Tips fedora. NS, please tell me you don't actually wear a fedora. I used to have fedoras, and I got rid of them a long time ago. I'm like, that was a fad back in like the early 2000s. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. No, it's
only my grandfather used to wear that.
No one wants BS real world pandering in their games. People's sexuality shouldn't be in games unless it either makes sense to the story or any adult rated game. So GDR, on that topic, kind of like when I was talking about before, there are games that have some woke elements, but that are still good games that are made by woke people that somehow manage to make a good game. Prime example, actually, I had the perfect example. I mentioned it on Discord earlier today. There was a guy, because for my real life business, I'm in the process of switching out like our payment gateway for our online website. And so he's from my bank. He shows up to help me kind of go through the setup process. Super gay. I mean, I've gotten emails from this guy. He is the lead Pride blah, blah, blah aficionado for his local branch. He runs the Pride part of the bank. It's like, he's massively gay. And it's like his entire identity. So it's like there's gay and then there's this guy where it's like he's Mr. Pride Month, right? However, while we might not agree on anything ideologically, politically, whatever, guy was super efficient, did his job, got me all this information, everything's gonna run smoothly, did a fantastic job. I would say that's an example of where a woke person or a extreme activist-minded person can still do a good job despite their own personal beliefs, right? In the same way that there will be some woke people who write comics, who make movies, who make video games that could still make a good game, but unfortunately it seems to be like a very slim minority.
Yeah, you do have to be objective, self-aware, a lot of things, but I don't think you can be fully objective if you're like that. I mean, it's extremely hard to do. And of course, when we're talking about activists, we have to talk about vegans and crazy people like that, because I know people like that. And they're always so freaking extreme. They would never admit if they have 500 different types of pains throughout their body. Why is that?
Yeah, no,
They have no idea.
it's always funny to see people who are on like that vegan diet and they look like they're like skin and bones, and it's just it's sad. You go, I understand that not everybody can stomach the idea of having to like forage for their own food and hunt animals and stuff. But it's like, if I was starving, you can bet your ass I'd be out there in the woods hunting my own food if I needed to. It's like, when push comes to shove, that's your human instinct, is you have to put food on the table. So
Yeah, besides that, no society can survive just with berries and
No.
fruit.
No.
You're gonna die.
Exactly.
That's it. You need meat. You can only live on meat, but you can live only on fruits and vegetables. It's impossible. You're gonna get diabetes eventually. And
Exactly.
there's a lot of that. I mean, I studied all kinds of nutrition more than 10 years now. So there's very little percentage of human beings that can actually survive on vegan diet without getting diseases. Very little. Then there's another percentage that vegetarian, larger percentage, you can totally survive if you're just vegetarian, but you can thrive completely and only if you eat a bit of everything.
Exactly.
Thrive
Exactly.
and survive two different things, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Karma, I'm 100% with you on that one. I mean, I listened to George Michael and Elton John. I love Elton John. I have no shame in saying it. I grew up loving. I love his music. I did
Yeah.
not buy their posters, but we all knew who they were. But they could sing. Yeah, sure, exactly. So I wanted to contrast what we were talking about with, again, Asmongold and his comments about needing the characters to be quote unquote bangable versus just having attractive characters. And again, games like Marvel Rivals, which if you searched right now, they probably still have what, 80,000, 100,000 concurrent players on Steam at this very moment, most likely. A game that didn't do what First Descendant did, where they just tried to give you, attractive characters and the gameplay sucked or was, not great. They built a great game and then also created attractive male and female characters. It was 100% like the best of both worlds. So,
Do I need to be liked?
what is NS doing? You're gifting memberships, man? Seriously?
Do I need to be liked? Absolutely.
You said you weren't going to because I wore a fedora. Come on.
I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked.
NS, thank you, dude, for the 5 gifted. Holy crap, man. You're only at 5% brain capacity? Hey, we're in sync. I'm on no sleep right now. My kid was throwing up last night, all night, so I'm right there with you. Yeah, so I think there's an argument that people generally just want attractive looking things. And again, not attractive necessarily in the sexual sense, but just in the fact that if you're going to be looking at something, you want it to look like pleasant to look at.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's normal for our human brains. Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. So even from people that have typically shilled for games in the past, like I know this guy was pushing, I want to say he pushed Assassin's Creed Shadows, Kelski, YouTube. I don't know. I don't follow these people. I just see them from time to time on Twitter. He says, after digesting all the marathon news, my biggest issue with it is the heroes. So much of their marketing is about you, how you can become a god, a legend with your actions. They've even talked about memorializing players and teams with their great achievements in game. This is all so much more meaningless when everyone is just clones of one another with some very basic and boring abilities. Yeah. And again, just I don't...
The reality is gonna be that you're gonna enter a match, you're gonna get killed right away, and then keep talking, saying to yourself that you're gonna become a god later on. Like, if you don't have a life and you can play this game every day, maybe you're gonna become a god eventually, but you're gonna get killed a lot of the times, and you're gonna get frustrated, and it's gonna be everything. I mean, every time the same thing with these types of games. So
Right. Now, this character here is supposed to be a guy, right?
Yeah, or a drag queen.
Somebody pointed out that the only that there's so far with faces that are visible, the only characters you've seen that are visibly like one possible gender or the other look to be all women. But this one here, I think, is supposed to be, I don't know. Like I said, the idea is that humans have given up their human existence essentially to become robotic. I as I understand it. So,
but then you won't care about maybe at all your gender. So maybe, I mean, you won't go out of your way to look another gender then, It's just
Right.
gonna be whatever you are, probably. You won't think about gender at all, just gonna transition into a robot but still look like whatever you were before. That kind of makes more sense to me, and not gonna go out of your way to look androgynous, or that's gonna be like what side effect of getting to be a robot. It still doesn't make any sense by what we know about robotics, like
Right.
right now at least.
It's a guy based on the voice. I haven't heard the voice for that one. GDR, this game is not directly going to compete with Apex or Call of Duty. It is trying to... So it's an extraction shooter, although they are going to be adding different modes, apparently. That's something I'm going to get to here in a second also. It's supposed to be competing with other games that are similar in the extraction shooter genre. But here's the thing. I was talking with Leon about this on his stream on Friday. There are other games that have died, or it might have been last week, I can't remember. Games like Scavengers, games like Hyenas that never launched. There are other extraction shooters that have never even seen the light of day or didn't last more than a few weeks in beta because nobody wanted to play them. They were just such a broken mess. They were not appealing. They didn't have an audience that wanted them. And so this game is trying to forge its way into a niche audience that may or may not even exist. In fact, I want to say somebody from Bungie came out and said that it's okay if you don't want to play this game because this game's not going to be for everybody, which I don't think is like a bad thing to say. He's not saying don't play my game. It's acknowledging that this game might have a very small, very niche appeal.
Yeah, I mean, every game is not for everyone. That is like common sense anyway. I mean, oh, and hi to Oblivion in the chat.
Hey, Oblivion. Fizzy says, I mean, it's going to do decent. The Bungie fans that play Destiny will come and try to shield it. But here's the thing. Like I was just saying, if the average Destiny player doesn't really do, like when I played Destiny 2, I played it for maybe 20 hours, maybe at the most. I just couldn't get into the game. I never did PvP.
Yeah, me too.
It just wasn't something I wanted. Like I thought the story, the strikes as they called them, the game was a little, I don't want to say confusing because that might make me sound a little retarded that I couldn't quote figure it out. I didn't like the way the game was laid out. So for me, it was a little confusing, like jumping into matches. The maps were really hard to navigate.
No, you're right. I had the same impression. You're totally correct.
So I'm not a fake gamer then. Okay, thank God.
Yeah, it's not a good game.
So yeah, for me personally, I never even tried the PvP of Destiny 2. So again, I've played Escape from Tarkov. I've played a little bit of Marauders. I've played a little bit of Hunt Showdown. I have 3 or 4 extraction type games on my computer that I never play because extraction shooters or extraction games tend to have a lot of cheaters, a lot of hackers, a lot of issues under the surface. Despite there being a niche audience for them, there's just a very small percentage of people who actually enjoy playing them. I think Escape from Tarkov has more people that watch streamers play it on Twitch than actual players that play it.
Yeah, and I also played Helldivers 2. Mm-hmm. It was fun with a friend, but still I'm getting this very surface level fun that I just rather play a single player game and enjoy myself. And I like that because it just gives me a lot more.
Is Helldivers 2 an extraction shooter? No. I mean, not to the same degree because it's not PvP. So when I think of extraction shooter, you lose your items if you die, and it has PvPvE elements. So you're playing against other players and against the environment.
Forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, so if it doesn't have those, Helldivers 2, you could argue is closer to an extraction shooter, but it's still, to me, it just doesn't, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I just associate them like very closely because you go in, you have a match, and you go out. Mm-hmm. So that is why. I mean, to me, it's the same thing based on how I feel about playing such online games in general. You know? Right.
It's an extraction game. So yeah, it's similar to that other game I play, Starship Troopers Extermination, where at the end of the match, you accomplish your goal or you fail, and you have to extract. You don't extract, your character dies. But in that case, you don't lose anything. I can't remember. Do you lose gear on Helldivers 2 or no?
I think yes, and then you gotta pick it up again. Ah, damn it!
I played Helldivers like one time.
You can loot whatever is left, and if somebody dies like next to you, you can loot their stuff. I think that's how it was.
Okay, well we'll call it extraction adjacent, I guess. I don't know.
Something like that. I mean, Overwatch to me is the same thing again, even if it isn't, because I'm going in and shooting stuff and I'm going out and it's online.
Well, Overwatch is much more in line, in my opinion. And again, this is somebody who never played either one, but more in line with like Concord, where again, you have a set number of heroes on either side. They have different, more like Marvel Rivals again, where you have tanks and you have healers and everything else. So that being said, it says, according to Scaro9, no idea who this person is, Marathon is not just extraction PvP. There's PvE layers with dungeon-style encounters. It features puzzle solving, hidden lore, and secret encounters. And you'll uncover mysteries while engaging in PvP. And then I saw an update today that says new details on the 4th map, because the game's supposed to launch with 3 maps, and now apparently they're working on a 4th one.
Jesus.
I know.
There's so few maps. I mean, if it had a campaign, I would be interested a bit more. Just campaign, story mode, something, you know? I
think campaign is something that they've talked. I don't know. I feel like campaign is something that they'll eventually add, but it's so tough because once a game launches, it kind of gets known to be a thing. I mean, Halo had a campaign at launch, but when I first played Halo when I was like, God, I think I was probably like 12 or 13 when the first Halo game came out, I didn't even know it had a campaign because all I did was go to my friend's house and we'd all just shoot each other. Because that's what people knew Halo was, you know, the game that you bring your TV, you bring your Xbox, and you get 16 guys in a room and you all shoot each other. So
yeah, that's the circumstance, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, now you would know if it's now.
I'd play a Viking extraction combat PvP VE game 100%. So other than like God of War Ragnarok, right? Because I don't play the God of War games. I just don't care. I've always wanted like a very good like Viking mythology movie, and then of course like a game that had Vikings plus Viking mythology and kind of the God of War maybe combat to it, but still more accurate to Viking mythology. I think that'd be really cool. I'm not sure about a Viking extraction PvPvE.
Well, you have Valhalla. I mean, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is pretty good.
See,
I played like 250 hours.
I quit after Unity.
But they're supposed to be only set in Greece. Whatever they did with the with the Viking stuff, that just so not God of War. So I mean, I like the games, but the older games are actually a lot better, a lot more impactful.
Hey, Susano, he says all Souls games are PvEVP. Yeah, I mean, yeah, to a degree. I think you can turn off on Elden Ring. Can you turn off getting raided? I can't remember. But yeah, I quit playing Assassin's Creed after I finished Unity. For some weird reason, the campaign on Unity bored the crap out of me.
Yes, I agree. It was horrible.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
the most freaking boring Assassin's Creed game ever. I was just like, what am I playing? Because I played all the games, so I'm a big fan. I'm like, what is this? But then all the other games before Shadows, to me, were pretty solid. I felt like a warrior. There's cool stuff to do, a story. It was there's a lot of cool stuff. I just love Egypt and the Greece setting. Just love it. And yeah, and then the Viking setting. That game had a bit less substance in some kind of a ways, Valhalla. I mean, but overall, just super fun game to play. Like what to do, I love it.
Right. Oh, so you can't turn off. Oh, you can't turn off getting invaded. You can avoid it by playing solo. If you don't participate in online, you don't get raided. Okay, well, I didn't care. I didn't ever, like if somebody invaded me and kicked my ass, I thought it was like, okay, well, I'll just get good, right? Never bothered me that much. So
games, I just can't. I cannot bear it. I did play all the Kazan demo. I was able to like go through it, and I want to get the game for my name day, which is next month. But yeah, I love. Yeah, Kazan is bearable.
It's good. It's actually it's not as bad as a Souls game as far as like the difficulty. It's more, I'd say, closer to, people say it's like Neo or closer to games like that. Yeah, I mean, it's similar to Wukong, but people say it's more like Neo or maybe God of War. I don't know.
No, God of War is not less difficult. A lot less difficult.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, again, like I said, I didn't play God of War. I mean, so when I look at difficult, I played Dark Souls 3 without any help practically because nobody on Xbox was playing it anymore. So anytime I tried to summon help, there was nobody. Like I'd have to like maybe one time out of 10, I'd get somebody who could try to help with a boss fight. And then Elden Ring, which is doable without help, but for me, I definitely summon people. And then of course, like games like Black Myth Wukong, Kazan, those are both difficult games, but in my opinion, not as bad as like Souls games.
Oh, no. I mean, if they were, I would never play them because I just can't stand that. But yeah, Wukong is difficult at the beginning, and then you really get good, then you really can see it. I mean, it's more fair. To me, it's just more fair than the Soul games. And then if you go through the game one time, then the second run, which is actually very appealing to do, it's really interesting. You get so powerful that you're like, oh, I'm gonna spank all the bosses, and you really do. And then on the third run, they get a bit more difficult, but still it's very easy because you're so strong and it's just such a fun to just go and like take your revenge on every boss because you're just I'm so strong.
If someone
just
needs an Elden Ring carry, my first advice is get good. My second advice is refer my first advice. Hey, I have no shame in admitting that I had to have help on Elden Ring, okay? Some of those bosses are insane. And I didn't have the time to spend like 100 more. Like, I already played 140 hours on my first playthrough of Elden Ring. I didn't have any more time to spare. So the fourth map takes place on a UESC marathon ship, features raid-like mechanics. You fight through different rooms. In each room, a certain enemy drops a key to open the next area. Eventually, there's a big boss fight. Defeating the boss drops an artifact. So they're just going to be adding more stuff into this. But the thing that I think is the most egregious when it comes to the trajectory of this game, the way it's looking online, is this kind of stuff right here, where Bungie said no to proximity chat for Marathon in order to create a safe space for players. I'm sure you've seen this, right?
Yeah, safe space for players. Okay. I mean, mute button, anyone? Hello?
It just doesn't make any sense either, because at the end of the day, these people don't seem to understand that when you have gamers and safe space, the two just don't go together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to talk to anyone. I can just play the game. I never put on the chat. I don't really care. I mean, if you and I are in a team, we're gonna talk, and that's great. But I don't want to just everybody hear what's happening in my living room, or to just talk to them in a quick match setting. It doesn't matter. I can play. I can see what. I mean, I know my role. When you know your role in the game,
Right.
If you're a tank or whatever, I'm just gonna do that. I don't need to communicate with people and just hear them. Oh, you're a girl. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Everything is muted. I'm muted. It's fine. Nobody knows who I am. I'm just playing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, you're always gonna, here's the thing, I hate to paint gamers as all like a bunch of evil, mean, toxic, bigoted, oh, they're just gonna say nasty things to hurt people's feelings. Like, no, most gamers you encounter are cool. You're gonna have the occasional person with a squeaky microphone or blasting music in the background, or who's just spamming the same, slur over and over. And it doesn't offend me, it gets on my nerves. It gets annoying.
It's annoying.
Yeah, so you just hit mute. It's like you select the person, you hit mute, and then you move on with your day. This idea of eliminating all proximity chat when, again, one of the essential things for games like Escape from Tarkov in extraction shooters for players who are very good at it is learning to listen for what direction things are coming from. So if there's no people talking, if they're not speaking and you can't hear where they're coming from, or, strategizing and all that, that eliminates like 90% of the anticipation of how you're going to, attack and how you're going to, use strategy to try to outmaneuver your opponents. It's such a silly thing. It seems like they're already like making all the wrong decisions from the get-go.
Yeah, just leave the chat there, and everybody is hopefully most people are grown-ups. They have they should have thick skin and just like do this with the button.
Yeah, no, safe space for an extraction shooter. Are they crazy? Extraction shooters have the most butthurt out of all the shooter modes. 100%. Extraction shooters are for people who want to shit on other people 24/7 when they play video games. They want to be the sweatiest, most crazy. They want you to hate them. Okay, that's who's like gets really good at extraction shooters, is the ones who want you to recognize their name and go, oh my god, there's no way I'm going to beat this guy. That's the kind of people that play those games. Now Marathon screenshots are reminding me of Tank Girl movie. It's bad. Now, this was apparently like an 8-minute cinematic movie that they made. I didn't watch it. I just didn't care that much. People said it was like the best 8 minutes of video game movie that you'll ever watch. I'm not going to watch a cinematic for a game that I'm not going to play. I just think that's kind of strange. So
Yeah.
my takeaway from this, though, and I put this on Twitter earlier, I said, may I say, as a fellow Washingtonian, because that's what we call ourselves here in this state, the people working on Marathon are the most thin-skinned weaklings to ever exist. The game will launch without proximity chat to give players a safe space. A producer on the game IP blocked me on Blue Sky after he said feedback about his game would result in an immediate block. And that's this guy here. I talked about him in my video. So he put this on Blue Sky. Said, just a reminder, myself and colleagues are here to celebrate our work. If you have feedback, our personal accounts are not the place for that. Please direct that towards official communication channels. Failure to comply will result in a block. Now,
Failure to comply. Are we like in the military?
no, and I'll say this: if he's saying, well, yes, I'm a producer on the game, but you know, if you have a real issue with the game, if you want to be nasty, send that to customer service, send it to whatever, don't post it here. I can understand saying be respectful, but what game developer, what producer on a game, what game director, and we even saw like Daniel Vavra when he was still fighting with people over Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, there were still plenty of times that he would respond to valid criticism. There were times that he would respond nicely about people asking about things for the game, patches and bugs they were having and stuff. You don't say, as a producer on a game or as a developer, well, this is my personal account, so you can't ask me about this here, and if you ask me about it, I'm going to block you. Like, that's pathetic behavior, okay?
Yeah, to say the least, like failure to comply.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
Oh no.
the craziest part was I was on his Blue Sky account when I made my video, not logged into my dummy account that I use on Blue Sky, because Blue Sky, I don't use it, but I have an account there. The guy somehow figured out how to block me. I guess he must have used my IP address to block my account on Blue Sky without me even being logged in.
Amazing.
Not even kidding. This is the producer on the game. And of course, this guy here has me blocked, and he is the UI designer on the game.
I mean, you're not gonna harass them.
No, I'm not going in anyone's DMs. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not calling them names or slurs. I'm saying this game is doomed because all of you guys are a bunch of thin-skinned weaklings, because every single one of you doesn't like criticism. Every single one of them.
Yeah, they just don't want to deal with it. Well, you're in a public eye. You're saying stuff. You're making a game. I mean, you gotta take at least some food for thought, you know?
If I had a personal account attached to my work or whatever, and somebody said, "Hey, did you ever think about putting this into a game?" I'd be like, "Oh, you know, maybe we'll pass that along." You know, why would you cut off any ability to have valid criticism, suggestions, or whatever by simply saying, "If you comment at all about this in any way, we're going to block you"? This is, and again, the verbiage of that post, and I actually had some guy from some game website who was criticizing me because he's like, "Oh, you wouldn't want people harassing you if you worked on a team, if you're by yourself, you don't care because you know you're not part of a crew of people. It's a lot harder with your personal and work life and stuff." It's like, well, not really, because I'm connected to all this stuff 24/7 on top of my actual work life, and that's a whole, you know, separate topic. But at the same day, why would you be so obsessed with like having your own little echo chamber where you're all gonna like pump each other up and be like, "Yeah, we did such a great job, like high five," you know, and not even be open to hearing feedback from customers, from potential players, from anybody who has maybe even like a suggestion about your game?
Oh yes, I know why. Pick me.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to hear it. They want to be okay with what they
want their
made.
safe space.
Yep.
They just want their safe space. That is what they apply to themselves as well. So yeah, no wonder. But do we really want such people to make games because they don't have any objectivity towards the world or themselves? So it's like we're just gonna make something in a vacuum, and nobody's gonna be offended. And if you are offended, just go f off. Thank you.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like this is the same situation that Concord had. I mean, they said that there was this situation where there was basically an echo chamber. They had toxic positivity because nobody was allowed to say, "Hey, wait a second, maybe we should pump the brakes and do something a little different. Maybe make the characters not so frightening. Maybe make some more generic characters or less, you know, hideous characters. Maybe, you know." It baffles me that anybody would say, "Don't communicate." You know, it's just mind blowing.
Oh gosh. Assassin's Creed Shadow has been the best-selling game in the US in the first 3 weeks on the market. Okay, great. Where are the copies of that?
So what they're using is the data that says it's the top selling. And here's the thing. I have no doubt that this game probably by now across PC and all console sales is probably somewhere between like 3 and 5 million copies sold. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, it's a big game, right? It's a big release. They had a lot of people playing on Ubisoft Plus. But at this point now, if the game has now reached upwards of maybe 3 to 5 million sales, I wouldn't be shocked. By the same token, what's his name? Marcus Cote? I can't remember what the guy's name was. One of the executives at Ubisoft, about a month or two ago, said that if a game doesn't hit 10 million sales on average, the game doesn't make money.
Uh-huh.
So the reason we're not seeing those numbers is because their own executives have said, well, yeah, 90% of AAA games don't make money, and if a game doesn't hit 10 million sales and it's a AAA game, odds are it won't.
Yeah, well, where are the real numbers? I mean, I pointed out in one of my videos as well that there's something called microtransactions, so they can make a lot of money from microtransactions as well, which we don't know. That's not accounted for. That's not gonna be like they're not gonna announce that, but we still have to know the numbers because that is how it is.
Right. And the funny thing was I saw something in this article right here. And this is, again, this is pure gaslighting. And I don't know, I've gone to this WCCF tech website before. I don't know who it's affiliated with. I don't know if some major media outlet actually owns it, because again, most of these media outlets are all owned by the same conglomerate, right? So the same company will own like 5 different websites, and they all kind of regurgitate the same story over and over. But this right here says, just 2 days after launching, Ubisoft announced that Assassin's Creed Shadows had already surpassed 2 million players worldwide after it broke 1 million copies sold on launch day. Again, they did not say that they sold 1 million copies on launch day. They said we have 1 million players. So they're once again changing the verbiage. They're not keeping their story straight.
Nope. It's like we don't remember. It was just weeks ago.
Yeah, it really wasn't that long ago. So we have that. They're still trying to own the chuds with this story that, again, it's making so much money, and it's the most successful game behind Valhalla, which, again, Valhalla sold a lot of copies. Nobody's arguing with that.
Yeah, but there was no like glaring issues with that game, you know? Right. Not really. I mean, female Eivor was kind of manly at times. I mean, she kind of is, so I don't like that.
I mean, that's the problem with trying to say, well, we're going to let you choose genders. Oh, by the way, they're Vikings. It's like, yeah, this wouldn't have worked. Like, I mean,
there was a shield maiden, but it's not the same as a male warrior. Mm-mm. Exactly, it's not the same. So, I mean, it's a fantasy game, okay, but at least make her look like a woman, you know, with the hips, and all of the clothes that fit male Eivor fit her the same way. It's like she has a male body. She's just a bit like smaller on the screen, but otherwise it's the same. And that just doesn't make any sense to me. Just make her like with the female body.
You know, fantasy or not, there's that argument about suspending your belief for the sake of watching a movie and realizing, well, I'm watching superheroes. It doesn't have to be 100% realistic because I'm seeing people flying around, right? Whatever. But at the same time, people who aren't superheroes in a superhero movie should still be treated like humans. They get hit by a car, they should still die. If they get shot in the head, they still die. So you can suspend your belief to a certain point. But at the end of the day, if you're playing a character who's a Viking warrior and you're supposed to be set in a time period where there would have been no females, Vikings raiding and raping and pillaging, it's like, it just didn't happen. The women didn't go raiding and raping.
No. I mean, they were warriors, like I've said, but they were not going to rape anyone.
No, exactly.
Not. Oh, Jesus. I mean, we're not sure. I checked.
Well, I mean, maybe.
We're not sure about those things yet. We're not. But, like, for example, if you watch the Viking show, you know, there was Ragnar. It wasn't just a myth. There was Lagertha, which was his wife at some point. I actually forgot about that, but the point is she was a great woman that was a warrior and all those things, but we don't know how that transpired exactly. And of course, women are weaker than men anyway, so they cannot be exact equivalent of a man.
Right.
But you know, in Assassin's Creed, it's fantasy, and I mean that Eivor is actually Odin. I mean, he was Odin before, so. Right. It is assumed that he does have powers to himself, and he does. So that will also apply to his female form. So let's say that they're more strong than not. I mean, than regular people. They're not regular people, that's for sure. Right. So from that kind of a way, I agree that, okay, we can play with female Eivor and all, but make her look like a woman, please. Like more like a woman. That's it. That's what I want.
Yeah, Korean. I kind of feel like, and again, I'm not a historian, and I'm not Scandinavian. Well, I say clearly, but yeah, not blonde.
Actually, if you're not, you can have some genes. I mean, you have blue eyes. I have blue eyes, but with me it's because I'm Slavic. You know, Bulgarians are ancient from Thrace and Slavic. Yeah.
You're probably more pure blood in your ethnicity than I am. Mine is all over the place. It's a mess over here, especially being an American.
Yeah, I should be. Yeah, I should be.
You certainly should
Wait
be.
a minute, there's a Pomeranian that I have to pick up again. Oh,
But the funny thing about it is, I think Korean Cowboy is kind of where I'm thinking. It's not that you couldn't have had, it's in the same way that like we've talked about with Japanese history with during the feudal age, where again you would have had women that were capable of fighting, and they did have women soldiers, but they were like auxiliary soldiers. They were the ones that defended if the front line fell, and they were the one like the last line of defense kind of thing. So for me, I just have a hard time with like suspension of belief when I'm playing a female character in a game where you're supposed to be fighting men who are twice your size. I think for me that's the harder part.
yeah. Once again, unless they have superpowers, then it doesn't
Well,
matter.
sure. In that case, it doesn't matter. Exactly. Let me see. Oh, Slavic, you thought the accent was French? No, she is Bulgarian. Or
She's
in Bulgaria.
French? I never heard that in my whole life.
I'd be offended if I were you.
Offended? No, I'm not offended. I'm just like, what? French? I really never. I mean, people think that I'm Russian or something, but French? That's new. That's just new.
So Vikings was a pejorative term for foreign pirates, not an ethnicity. They also weren't a specific group of people, rather a bunch of different peoples. Well, see, Susano, you're just getting too technical for me now. You missed the part where I said that I was up all night because my kid was vomiting. So I'm not going to pretend to be intelligent or have like a well laid out thought at the moment. But we're seeing information now about Assassin's Creed Hex is going to focus on a female protagonist named Elsa. This is information that was actually reported earlier this year, and it seems to be confirmed now. Tom Henderson reports on a scene in which Elsa uses magic to take over the body of a cat and distract soldiers. This would make her the first Assassin's Creed female main protagonist with magical abilities, which at this point, I don't even care about the magical abilities so much.
I mean, that's good to me, you know? I mean, I'm fine with that. I love magical abilities.
Yeah. And if they're doing it with, again, like a Witch's Coven, sure, it makes sense to have a female character. I just think that this one's going to land with a thud at this point because, let's be honest, there's enough people who convinced themselves they needed to play Shadows just to own the chuds and they had to, support Ubisoft. They're not going to then go out of their way and buy this game if it doesn't look interesting. If it just looks like another entry in the title, this one here is probably not going to do that well.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see that. We'll see.
Yeah, again, we still don't know the numbers on Shadows, so good luck ever finding out the numbers on Hex. Is the character based on Elsa Jean? I do not know. And if it's an adult actor, I have no idea, so I'm not even going to touch that one. The funny thing, though, is there's a lot of information coming out about Ubisoft. Have you seen that they're trying to essentially reboot Skull and Bones?
Reboot's going what?
So Skull and Bones, this pirate ship game that came out at the beginning of last year, had no combat as far as I know. You couldn't physically, just like on Black Flag, when you could actually board ships and take over, and Black Flag was awesome for the actual naval battles. The sea shanties traveling on the open water, diving, and all that stuff was pretty cool. This game was supposed to be like the spiritual successor to Black Flag, or like Black Flag 2, right?
Yeah, it isn't. I played a bit of it. It was horrible. It was like a game from 2010, so clunky and weird.
So now they're saying that they're going to be adding a bunch of stuff. This video is a work in progress of what they're trying to do. They're trying to add land combat. I assume they're going to be adding combat where you can rappel over to other ships and try to fight the crew and take over. For me personally, though, it says it's a work in progress, and it doesn't look very good. So...
zombies. I'm sick of zombies.
I'm tired of zombies and everything. At least maybe with pirates, it'll make sense.
Yeah, we'll see, but I'm not gonna buy the game for that and still be disappointed if it doesn't deliver, if it's not like Assassin's Creed Black Flag in some kind of a way, I'm gonna be probably disappointed. I don't know. Yeah,
Oblivion, I think Korean Cowboy just said it, Sea of Thieves. And I played Sea of Thieves quite a bit, actually. I thought it looked dumb at first. And once I got over the art style, which again, I used to be more of a purist about, I need my art style to look good, right? Once I stopped caring about the art style, Sea of Thieves is a really fun game. And there's just no way that they're going to be able to compete with Sea of Thieves. At this point now, I don't understand why they're still trying to pump money into this game, trying to make it a thing. So they're currently trying to work on overhauling that. So that kind of takes us to this part here, which apparently is Apex Legends is going to have a competitor coming out of Ubisoft now. There's going to be a Ubisoft Battle Royale inspired by Apex Legends.
Boy, okay, I didn't know about that.
Right.
Interesting, maybe.
If you were to
Not
ask
sure.
Empress what the term for someone who is quick-witted, perceptive, and intellectually sharp, she may be able to guess my last name. It's the B in my username.
What? Where is that comment?
DB Wild, fourth from the bottom right now.
Aha, if you ask Empress what the term for someone who is a quick-witted, perceptive, able to guess my last name, it is the B in my username. Jesus.
He might be
Bright?
trolling you, just so you know.
I mean, it's very early for me, so the only word that I can say is bright right now.
Yeah,
I
so
need more coffee.
you guys got to remember. Oh, in her own language.
In my own language. Oh, damn it.
Bolshevik.
Damn
All
it. I can't think. I mean, I think in English right now. It's really hard.
You got her thinking in English, man. Come on.
No, damn it, I can't. What is Bolshevik? I mean, what do you mean with Bolshevik? I just can't. That's very far off from where my brain is right now. Okay?
Yeah, that's why I said DB, he likes to troll me a lot of times, so I tend to take what he says with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally on to gaming stuff in English right now.
You can't tell if that's a cat or a dog. That is a dog.
That is a cute Pomeranian puppy who is actually just fell asleep in my lap.
I say, I'm looking around for my dog. I have no idea where he is. He's probably sleeping on my bed because he likes to get as close to my boy cat as he possibly can.
Oh, he's so cute.
Babushka. I don't think it's Babushka.
Babushka, that's not in Bulgarian.
No, I know. That's Russian. Borscht.
Yeah. I mean, grandmother is Baba. It's not Babushka. Baba Yaga is, our horrible creature from the myths and legends. That's our thing. But still, it's not bright. It's not anything that you described.
Bingaling. Are these even words?
What?
All right.
It's supposed to be in my language, but only Baba Yaga is, and she is evil. She's not good, bright or intelligent or whatever.
All right, we're gonna move on because now I'm just feel like we're just getting trolled. All right, so Ubisoft is working on a battle royale inspired by Apex Legends. Insider Gaming has learned that Ubisoft is currently developing a new battle royale game. The game, which is currently under the project name Scout, is so heavily inspired by Respawn Entertainment's highly successful Apex Legends that it once used as the thumbnail for the project. What? It was once used as the thumbnail for the project? Oh, they used Apex Legends as the thumbnail. So just say that you're copying somebody else's homework, why don't you? Oh my god. It's understood that the game has been in development for at least a couple of years and will feature very similar characters to Apex Legends, including a spin on Pathfinder, Wraith, Lifeline, and other characters from the game. One source said on the project, I think the goal is to capitalize on the player count of Apex dropping, and Ubisoft's higher-ups think that there's room in the market for another hero battle royale. Holy crap.
Yeah, I totally quit on battle royales like years ago.
Oh man.
I'm just tired of it.
No, so like 4 years ago I was playing Call of Duty with my friends. 5 years ago I started playing Apex Legends, and then I'd go back to Apex, and then it got really cringe and terrible, and they kept changing everything, and I just got burned out. So then last year my kids kind of got into Apex, and I'd play it with them, and now they're all burned out on it, and I don't play it on my own. So I'm like, thank God they don't want to play it anymore. But I don't understand what Ubisoft would possibly think is like, how is this a good idea? I mean, how much money can this company possibly spend, like just burning money at this point? It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're throwing things at the wall and see what sticks, but they don't actually think about what they're throwing.
The article says, interestingly enough, the project seems to go against Ubisoft's own internal research team, who recently asked the question, what's next after Battle Royale? While citing the decline in players across various Battle Royale games, including Apex Legends. Yeah, I mean, people are getting kind of burned out. That's why all these games keep adding skins and characters. I mean, look, how many people are in Fortnite now?
Oh gosh.
It's like everybody, anybody who's mildly famous, they put a skin in Fortnite for them.
Yeah, that's true, but only kids play Fortnite here, basically. I used to play it at some point when it came out, and then I was like annoyed by all the building stuff, and my best achievement is being second, so at least that's something, but then I was like, no.
I finished first on Fortnite once or twice, and that was on my kid's Nintendo 6 years ago, 7 years ago. But yeah, no, I played it for like a week, and then I moved on to Apex Legends. I'm like, yeah, Fortnite's just not for me. It just wasn't. I don't know. I think Fortnite's a very well-made game. Like, I will give Fortnite credit. They know what they're doing. They still have a captured audience, so clearly they're doing something right. I just don't enjoy the game that much myself.
What? I'm sorry, I'm shocked. Because Quilipin Gaming says, fun fact, Russia's alphabet is greed. STA Cyrillic translated for them. No, that's not true. Russian's alphabet is Cyrillic, which is Bulgarian alphabet. Bulgarian invented alphabet by two people, Kirill and Metodi. They're using our alphabet. All Cyrillic alphabet is Bulgarian. It's not Greek. Greek has totally different language. It's not Slavic based at all.
Well, you lit a fire in her. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ, where did you get that? I mean, Jesus Christ. You also probably think that yogurt was invented by Greeks, but it was invented by Bulgarian people that actually discovered the bacteria that creates the yogurt.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't think Greeks invented it, to be fair. I just didn't know who invented it.
Yeah. Also, the guy that invented the personal computer is half Bulgarian. Cyrillic Greek symbols not audible. What are you talking about? Cyrillic in Greek, they might have, I don't know what, something and similar in the symbols, but Cyrillic's totally different. We have no idea what they're talking about or writing. Neither they have anything to understand. I mean, we don't understand each other at all. Jesus Christ. I don't know where that's coming from, really. I have no idea. The Greek and the Bulgarian thing. We just live next to them.
We're just neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have some Greek statues and Greek stuff in Bulgaria because it was under Greek ruling some part of Bulgaria. Then Greek was under Bulgaria ruling some part of the history. It's what I want to say, but we have nothing much in common, damn it.
Susano says, to me, this is dumb gambling and a mistake thinking it'll work. So somebody, I think, asked about like the amount of time this game might have taken to develop. This is the thing with Concord, going back to like Marathon and Concord and other games that take way too long to develop, and then they release into a market that no longer wants something. So I kind of feel like this is the situation that they're facing here. And don't forget that, yeah, I think it says here this isn't Ubisoft's first time in the Battle Royale market. In 2020, they launched Hyperscape, and I played Hyperscape for like maybe 2 nights in a row, and that was it.
Yeah, I also played it for, 30 minutes, and I was like, no.
it was okay, but it was like Valorant, but as a battle royale. That's how it felt to me. It was the style was very similar to Valorant in a way, but it wasn't very fun.
No, just generic.
Mm-hmm. Pulling the plug on the project around 18 months after release. Man, Ubisoft really pulls the plug on quite a few games. Damn, I mean, they have that lawsuit going on over that racing game, The Crew, that they pulled offline. You've got X Defiant, which made it like, what, a year and a half? That was their Call of Duty killer. Now, that one wasn't a battle royale as far as I know, but it was still a first-person shooter PvP game. It says, internally, Ubisoft has canceled about a dozen battle royales for one reason or another. Oh my God.
I mean, who cares by this point, I just care about the single-player games and can they make a good story? Because so far, I'm playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's like, I'm not exactly sure what Nawa is doing. And I mean, she's trying to get to some people, but their stories are so bland and surface level that I'm like, I don't care. I just want to assassinate people, so I'm just going to kill now everyone. And so it's great. Thank you.
I'd say when all else fails, start killing everybody. See, that works in some games, but I haven't gotten to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 very much in the last month or so. That game, if you start killing the wrong people, you'll get executed for it. So you got to be careful. But it's really funny how a lot of that works. Some games you can literally do whatever the hell you want and it has no consequences whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that can be fun. I don't like realism a lot in some games. Like, I don't like that they have to literally do the potions in Kingdom Come the same way that I would do in real life, like pick up the actual vessel and I have to pour stuff in it in the real time. I'm like, I'm gonna get old playing this game. It's gonna be here forever.
It gets better than that because you can actually do blacksmithing in the game too, and it has the same kind of methodology where you have to move the metal, heat the metal, hit the right spots at the right time, like time your swings. It's crazy.
No, I don't like that. No, if I have to feed my horse because it's gonna die in 5 minutes or do anything like that, I just wanna, go fight people, like solve like questing, see the story, do puzzles, something like that. Uncharted, God of War, Assassin's Creed, how it used to be. I don't want such realism. I just get so tired of it. I just can't stand it. I like to be active.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: you have to be willing. I see a couple of people saying I like that about KCD2, one of the top 5 games in the RPG and open worlds. If it's something that you want in a game, there are games that definitely are catered to that. And there's times where I just want to play a game where I don't have to think about, like I was saying, I can't remember who I was talking to on Twitter. Even for RPGs, games that are more realistic, the thing that I hate the most is food going bad, food spoiling. It's the most annoying function in a game. It's like, oh, you got to either keep your food in the fridge or you have to use your food before it spoils. I'm like, all right.
No, I can't. I just can't do it. Also, if my weapons break, screw this game. I'm out.
I can deal with that. I can actually deal with the durability of weapons over the food spoiling because here's my thinking. When it comes to weapons and armor, a lot of it's based on how you use them, where you get hit, how much combat you've been engaged in, all that kind of stuff. So the less combat you're engaged in, the longer your weapons will last, or you kind of just remember to keep track. Okay, well, I've used this weapon for a while, but I killed that guy so I can pick up his sword and use his sword now. Food is a different topic because with food, you have all this food 1 minute, and then you sleep, and because the day and night cycles of games are a little different than real life, by the next day, half your food is spoiled and you can't eat it anymore. It's extremely annoying.
That's worse than the weapons breaking, but still, when you're not 12 years old anymore and you just want to be a warrior and feel great in the game, I don't have time for this.
That is also true. That's a good point. I mean, at some point, you only have so much time to invest into like gaming or a hobby or whatnot. So yes.
Yeah, I'm never gonna see half of the story because I have to cook.
Well, yeah, that happens too. But hey, at least with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you can cook like 90 things all at once. I will say that they don't make you like cook one thing at a time. That was something about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I don't remember if they changed it for Tears of the Kingdom or not, but for Breath of the Wild, you had to make like one meal at a time, and that was the most frustrating function. I'm like, okay, so you can combine different items to make different effects in your food. That's really cool. But then it's like, okay, it's going to take me literally all day long to make like 10 different, meals. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, I just, that's why I like action games with some RPG elements, like changing your gear, how you look. That's so cool. And having different weapons with better stats, I can totally go with that. But anything that's more RPG than this, like taking care of my horse all the time and horse having stamina and me having stamina, I mean, I can deal with the stamina in Kazan, but I rather not have stamina at all. I just want to hit stuff. So yeah, I understand why that's a problem, but I just want to hit stuff. Okay.
Yeah, what I figured out for Kazan is stamina is the thing that I was increasing the most. So I'm at like the second or third boss in Kazan, and I haven't played it for like a week or two. And the thing that I've found the most useful in that game is max out your stamina as much as you possibly can, because you're going to get good weapons, you're going to get good items and stuff. Stamina is like the most important thing in that game. It's crazy.
Yeah, because you're able to execute a lot more movements this way.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great advice. When I get the game, hopefully next month, I'm gonna use that. Thank you.
You've played a few survival games that have the option to turn off food spoil and weapon degrade. Keep it real or keep it quick. I like that option. Yeah, I mean, having the choice for both is cool. Now, again, I don't want to strip a game of like its character, and if the game developers meant for a game to be played a certain way, like for example, Souls games being difficult, I don't want a function that says, well, they wanted you to play the game at a certain level. I'm just going to cheat, like the whole Death Stranding 2 and South of Midnight both having the option to skip boss battles. I don't like that at all. I'm like, if you're gonna play the game, please just play the game the way it's intended, you know?
Yeah, you know, when back when Skyrim, came out, there's also this game Kingdoms of Amalur, and that was pretty
Yeah.
good game. It just went under the radar a bit, but my point is, in both games, there's a lot of RPG elements that were leveled. It wasn't like too out there, like with the cooking and all that stuff. It was normal. It was with good measure, let's say. So it doesn't take you out of the game that much, especially in Kingdoms of Amalur, which had better combat than Skyrim. It was more dynamic, it was faster, it had chakrams, and I love chakrams because, I'm a Xenowarrior Princess fan. So
Oh, sure.
I'm like, this is the first game I see chakrams in, besides the Xena games that were PlayStation 1 and 2. So this is the first game, yeah. So happy about this game. I didn't even like RPGs at the time. I was like, no, give me action game, yeah. But I just got used to it because of these two games. They got me into RPGs.
Yeah, I never actually played anything past Morrowind. Like I said, when I was playing on my original Xbox when I had Morrowind, and I didn't really play a whole lot of RPGs. I played a lot of action games. I played a lot of first-person shooters. So I played Morrowind, and I loved it because the ability you could in Morrowind to craft pretty much anything you wanted, any kind of magic, any kind of potion, you could make it if you could imagine it, basically. And then after that, people got into Skyrim and Oblivion and all those other games, and I never really got into any of those. But now we have this announcement that there's going to be this Oblivion remake because we've seen some leaks online. And I'm not sure, have you seen like the side-by-side shots of what the game used to look like versus what it looks like now?
No, I haven't, but actually that's very interesting.
Yeah, so I've got the screenshots in a second, I'll show you. So it says, the long-rumored Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake remains a hot topic online, with several insiders now narrowing down the mysterious title's release window to the week of April 21st. The crazy thing about this is that this game wasn't even announced, and then now it's like coming out in a week. So, very strange. Several speculated drop dates have come and gone, but many Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion fans remain cautiously optimistic that the game will be announced and released this month. Updated version of Oblivion has been on many fans' wish lists for years. There's even like a fan-made one they call Sky Oblivion that's basically like a modded version of the game.
I mean, I would be interested in that. I mean, I haven't played Oblivion at all, so.
Yeah, and my concern's always going to be the same thing as any other game that gets remastered or remade, is how true to the original is it going to be. But it's hard because if you never played the original, you're not going to know what you're missing unless you listen to what other people are saying about it.
Yeah, exactly. But I did play not Oblivion, but Two Worlds, which has nothing to do with Oblivion. I mean, it's the same type of a game.
Right.
Oh damn!
There they go. No, I get what you're saying though. There's a lot of games that are adjacent to the fantasy genre, RPGs and stuff. And to be honest, I think ever since the success of games like Morrowind, a lot of people have tried to copy that formula to make, I mean, even Avowed, a game that looked like a clone of the Elder Scrolls types games. Sure, it had a lot of similar features, but it wasn't as good for a lot of people. So it says,
Puppies are barking, so I won't talk.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. While rumors of Oblivion's release in April 2025 have been debunked so far, it appears that several insiders still believe it'll be the case. Let's see. Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubb said that Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake will shadow drop during the week of April 21st, potentially following the Elder Scrolls Online anniversary event on April 22nd. So it seems like it could be coming out here very, very soon. And again, I have the screenshots here because people were sharing them online. These were alleged leaks. So here was a screenshot of the original game, and I think it's like, what, over 20 years old now. And again, looks like a standard fantasy game back in the day. And then this is what it supposedly is going to look like now. And
wow.
Right. The thing that a lot of people noticed that's more obvious in the scenery shots in the next slide here is this was the original scenery in the original game versus the way it looks like now. Very, very drab. very brown. A lot of people say it looks like they put it through like a muddy or dirty filter. Which again, I guess part of the game's story is that it's, again, there's these Oblivion gates to essentially hell or another another realm or whatever. So it would make sense that there's a little bit more of like the drab despair in the game or whatnot. But for me personally,
complex because details back then weren't a thing that much, but now we can put a ton more polygons on the screen, so they just do that and make it look more modern and all that.
Right. Remy says, consider it's dusk or sunset, and that's a possibility. It could just be the lighting situation. I mean, this could be more green during the day, and you'll see some other screenshots here. Let me pull this one up. It's not that the game doesn't have any greenery, so this actually looks really nice as far as like the details go. I think this could be very, very cool, depending on how they pull it off.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the detail on the armor looks really cool.
Yeah, I can totally see myself playing this, as long as it's not, once again, cooking yourself a lot.
Well, again, the thing about the Elder Scrolls games, at least from what I experienced on Morrowind, there's a lot of detail in the game. You can pretty much do whatever you can think of. And I don't know if the other Elder Scrolls games maintained that amount of freedom in the game that one had. But it's going to be your traditional fantasy RPG where you're going to have a lot of freedom to do what you want to in the game, quests and everything else too.
Also, it's very important for the menus to be understandable and how you combine materials, how you craft, because if that's not made well, you're gonna feel lost and like a chore, like doing a chore. Like, for example, at least for what I remember from The Witcher 2, that's what it put me off from the game, because it looks so freaking messy and complicated.
Right.
And granted, I was very young then, but I'm like, what is this? There's so many stuff, I don't get it. And then in Witcher 3, everything was so much more understandable and well, like, organized. I'm like, oh, that's a lot better, because
yeah, but I feel like
not on my screen, and I don't feel like I'm in the game. I feel like I'm out of the game. I have to go out of the game so I can play the game, and I don't like that aspect. They have to somehow figure out a way to make this seamless more than that.
Right. And you can almost kind of get that feel too, but again, these are two different. This is a daytime shot down here. This is obviously nighttime because you can see that you got the torches lit and everything else. So the thing is, obviously back in the day, games that were more simple, your trees were going to be green, your stone was going to be gray. It obviously less wear and tear, less detail. So the more realism you add into the game, obviously there's going to be more room for things to be drab. DB Wild says they ran it through the Skyrim filter, making it more drab. Oblivion was meant to be kind of colorful. Because the areas around Cyrodiil were lush and vibrant, the regions of Skyrim were cold and dark. See, I know a lot of people have a lot more history with these games than I do. I played Morrowind, and that game was freaking awesome, but it was so many years ago that I'm still worried about what a remake for that game is going to look like. Not to mention, the game Morrowind had this thing where all the Dark Elves would call you Enwa, and it sounded like a really nasty slur. And I guarantee they're going to pull that out of the game. There's no way they're going to keep that in there.
We'll see, but at least is something that's interesting and it's coming. I would say that if many games are remastered, just keeping their integrity, what made them good, just maybe improving some gameplay to not be as clunky, just fixing some stuff that are objectively worse. That's so good. That's fine, and then just don't ruin the game with anything that was not supposed to be there in the first place.
Yeah, and these are games that were made back before people really got into oh, we need to have non-binary characters and we need to worry about this and that. And I don't know how you feel about this, because you were playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and when I played Assassin's Creed up till Unity, the games weren't treated like RPGs at the time. For me personally, even playing an RPG, the romance side of it, whether it's gay, straight, otherwise, I couldn't care less, is not something that I'm really interested in. I don't care about romances in a video game.
Yeah, me too. Me either. I will never see those things. But the thing that bothers me about Assassin's Creed in particular is that, for example, this Ibuki character, he's really flirting with you. He's really, acting in this very feminine manner. So it's not like you can't skip that. I mean, you will not choose to, if you don't want to, you will not choose to be romantic with this guy. But the point is that he acts this way and you see it. And if you're, any normal player, you'll be like, so you can't skip the feeling of that.
I had that exact situation with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. because it came out that there was going to be stuff in it that might get it banned in Saudi Arabia. The director came out and confirmed that there was an optional gay romance, and you can go, okay, well, it's optional, no big deal, I just won't do it. Then we found out that it was one of the core characters of the game from the first game. He's like your best friend, and that would just be kind of weird, but it's like, okay, still an option, whatever, fine. So just don't go down that road. But then I started playing the game, and within the first half hour of like the tutorial beginning section of the game, the character is making like these innuendos about, fighting with their dicks or whatever, like all this kind of weird stuff, right? He's like, oh, he's like, what are we going to use, the wood swords? He's like, well, we're not going to use our cocks, right? And it's like, I know that there's the option, and now it feels like they're doing that blatantly because they wanted to put that in the game later on. So there was some weird dialogue that I'm like, if I didn't know that there was the gay option in the game, I'd still be wondering, why did he just say that? Like, that just seems really out of place. So
maybe they're very vulgar in those times. I haven't checked.
Maybe. Elder Scrolls Online had some really good gaming.
Being vulgar, and not being like innuendo on purpose, but I just don't know. I have to see if Metatron knows something about it. Metatron, the channel.
Yeah. Let's see. Elder Scrolls Online had some really good gaming, but for me, it just got old fast. I mean, that's the thing about a lot of online games, though, is that does tend to happen as well. Let me see here. Remy says the optional gay stuff was off-putting and broke immersion to even have the option. It's so tough, because on one hand, I want to be like, look, I remember playing games like Fable, where if you wanted to get married to a dude, you could get married to a dude. There was like, for every woman that you could fall in love with and marry in Fable 2, there was like one guy in each town that might be gay, right? And it was entirely your choice, whatever. But at the same time, there wasn't any dialogue where they were hitting on you 24/7, like making weird innuendo at you. Whereas what you're talking about is something where you should have to pursue the character if you want to have a romantic relationship. And it's just this non-binary he, she, they, them, who's like straight up like hitting on you. It makes it very weird.
The women character in Naue is the same thing. I haven't reached that part of the game yet because I just have no time to play, but I see all the scenes. I actually posted all the scenes on my gaming channel, so it's like it's very suggestive. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Do you like me in this way? Do you like me? I'm like, no, get away from me.
Hook says cock fencing is just dude banter. That's why you don't allow gays in society, because cock fencing's taken literally. No, but here's the thing in the game, though. It was followed up by then you and Henry going for a swim, and it was just it almost felt like there was this weird homoerotic energy, more than just two guys bantering. And unfortunately, I have no way of knowing if that was just my bias kicking in because I knew that the option existed, or if I didn't know that option existed, how I would have felt about it in the moment playing it. Again, that's where I of all the situations that have come out in the last year, that one, the controversy around Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it just ruined a lot of the excitement I had for the game. Because then you have spoilers, you have controversy, you have drama, you have people angry at you if you do play it, you have people angry if you don't play it. And I'm just over here going, I just want to play it for myself and enjoy the game or not enjoy it. But again, unfortunately, that's the whole... We can't go back and undo the past at this point.
Yeah, and the games are about having fun in the first place, and we totally forgot about that. It's like, we have to put everything in the games now that it's like from the real world or whatever. I'm like, you're supposed to like show a setting that none of this that we have today was real or relevant or whatever, or it was if somebody was gay, most likely that was hidden from society. You're never gonna see it in real life situation, and even if there's a chance that you will see it, of course, because somebody did bang somebody at some point that was from the same sex, why is that in the game? So you still have the question, why is this in the game? Why it has to be in the game? Why do you need the representation of that in the game? You're not supposed to do that. Even if I was gay and there's a lot of people that are gay, that doesn't mean that you want to see that in the game. If you're a normal person, that doesn't mean that you want to have a sexual or whatever interaction in a game.
Right.
Because it's just totally different context. It's entertainment. It's about, being a warrior or being like whatever it is, but it's never about being sexual with someone unless you want to play a game like a anime, something hentai crazy thing. And you want to actually do that on purpose. But otherwise,
there's a whole side of Steam which markets to that, and it actually is a very large market. So
Just,
It's,
just go play that.
yeah,
You know?
exactly, exactly.
Don't do it in a mainstream games, especially not in a suggestive way. I really thought that in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, yeah, I said that right. You can totally not see that. Some people said that they never saw that when they just played straight. But if the guys really are trying to be suggestive here and there, I don't know.
Right, and a lot of people say, that that's just normal guy humor. And look, I made plenty of gay jokes with my buddies and stuff growing up. So yes, there is normal straight guy banter where you joke about that kind of stuff, 100%. For me, it was just coming off the controversy and then immediately jumping into the game. And within the first 20 minutes, that's the kind of jokes he's making. I'm like, something feels a little off. But again, hindsight bias, unfortunately.
Well, I think that is because, well, you're a guy. You gotta tell me if that is true. But with my psychological analyzing abilities, what I've noticed is that guys feel uncomfortable talking about those things and joking about those things would be only if they're making fun of it, not because they wanna making any suggestive comments like playing with our cocks or something.
Exactly.
It's going to be to make fun of a thing. It's not going to be well, look at me, you have a cock, I have a cock, let's fight with them. That's not a guy thing, straight guy thing at all. So you're not gonna do that in a real life setting if you're a straight guy.
Well, most certainly won't.
Yeah.
Then you see those articles about how cuddling is the new straight thing for men. It's like, oh no, straight men don't cuddle with each other. That's not a thing. But
no, they don't cuddle with each other. Like what? I mean, women don't cuddle with each other if they're straight, unless they're teenagers and they're crazy.
Exactly.
Otherwise, no. I mean, I feel repulsed by a thought that I have to kiss a girl or whatever. It's just a natural feeling like, ugh,
Exactly.
It's a natural thing. What to do? It's just how I feel,
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, unfortunately, that there's lots of years of human history and just, naturally, the way that you're wired, that you're not going to find something appealing to look at. It's kind of like we were talking at the very beginning about art styles and aesthetics and everything else. Let me see if this actually works here. If I switch screens. Oh, there you are. Okay. You can't see, but I've got you in the little corner down here.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I think I've still got chat where we can see it. Hang on. Let me see here.
I can tell you about my experience about actually kissing a girl when I was a teenager. I did a stupid thing.
Hey, go for. I think the guys will want to hear that. Go for it.
Okay, well, yeah, it was just literally a stupid thing. I mean, let's see how it feels to kiss a girl, although we don't wanna. But let's just do it to see how it feels, literally. And it was the most bland thing ever. It was like kissing nothing, absolutely nothing. Because if you don't have any feelings from the inside or whatever, anything at all, it's just nothing. It's like, oh well, it's soft, but otherwise it's no.
Okay, but to be fair, you could almost say the same thing for somebody that you're not even attracted to, right? I mean, if you had to kiss somebody that you weren't in a relationship with or attracted to, you might not feel anything either. But
yeah, but it's different. I mean, kissing a guy just you do have to be some kind of attractive. I mean, I'm not gonna kiss anyone that I don't want to kiss,
Well, so sure, exactly.
And hard to make that comparison because I'm not gonna do it. But with the guy, just totally different. Like the energy is different. The feeling, everything is different. You feel, well, you feel like you're not a lesbian in that moment. Let's just say that. Yeah.
You're gonna kill me. Oh my god. Here we go.
What to do?
So go follow Empress for more stories about kissing girls.
No. No, I will talk about that at OnlyFans when I covering my sexual topics.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered pretty much a lot of ground tonight, and you've already got your whole day ahead of me, and I've got
I'm in the future. Don't forget.
You are in the future. Yes.
It's Thursday for me.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you go check out 40K Empress. She covers a lot of stuff on 3 different channels, superheroes, gaming, and as well as a lot of 40K lore. Somebody who was here earlier was asking about 40K stuff, and yeah, you cover a lot of 40K stuff.
Yeah, a ton. And I'm going to have a lot more to cover, like different things that other channels do sometimes. But yeah, I'm thinking about what to do. Still, there's a lot to think about.
Well, that's the thing too. As I think, as you know, I hate the term, but content creators or YouTubers or whatever, you kind of don't want to fall into a niche where you only cover one thing, especially because you're not like a one-dimensional person. You've got different opinions on different things, and so you want to be able to share your opinions on a wide variety of things. But unfortunately, you don't want to get stuck to where you're that person who, oh, 1 minute I'm talking about video games, and the next I'm talking about politics, and people are going to go, why are you talking about these on the same channel? So
Yeah, you can't do that. I had to learn this the hard way, and that's why I'm not growing as fast as I could have, because I had to pivot the channel to 40K 5 years ago around that, and then I still wasn't consistent with the topics and still talked about different things from time to time, and that confuses the hell out of the YouTube algorithm. It cannot serve the right audience, so I stopped doing that, and now I'm gonna just focus on doing particular types of content on 40K, just niche down even more. The same thing with my gaming channel and my superhero channels. It's just gonna be deep dives into superhero things, things that people just don't realize about superheroes. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting.
well, that's very cool. I mean, a lot of content creators have gotten to where, yeah, sure, we cover a lot of like the craziness, the woke stuff, things that get like a lot of views, but at the same time, still cover things that you really care about and love. Like, that's why I still do gaming streams. Is why I still like to do things where it's not just all doom and gloom and negative. It's not all just stuff that's like, oh yes, what game is gonna fail now? It's like, no, I play video games. I own a lot of video games I still need to finish. It's like, I cover this stuff because I actually like video games. If I didn't like video games, I wouldn't have any interest in covering it. So
Yeah, absolutely. But the point is, you have to make different channels for different things. As much as you don't wanna, you just
for
have
sure, for sure. I was gonna cover I don't know if you know who iDubbbz is, and Hassan Piker, and all these complete weirdos on the internet.
Definitely, yeah, he's a Turkish guy, so that means that we don't love him.
Yeah, so there was a lot of that kind of stuff today. If I would have had 5 minutes at work, I might have recorded a video on it, but I was so busy today. I'm like, well, maybe tomorrow there'll be something. But there's so much insanity online. It's like there's never not something to talk about. There's always like this constant flow of information.
Yeah, I mean, he is a genuinely bad person. That's not only because he's
Oh no,
Turkish,
for sure.
and not only because we were under Turkish slavery for 500 years. Imagine that, white people being slaves, being burned and raped every 5 minutes for 500 years. So yeah, but it's not only because that. It's just because he's a really bad person.
No, I think Hassan is just complete scum, but that's a whole different topic. Exactly. I think he's just a terrible person. Let me see here. Hey, Patriot, you have arrived really close to my bedtime. Actually, yeah, you are minutes away from me going to sleep. So yeah. There's a casino episode today. You'll have more background content. What are you talking about? Oh, Culture Casino. Okay. H3 was kind of sane with his takes at the time. So the thing is, I really don't care about them going after Ethan Klein, because Ethan Klein is just as big a loser as the rest of them. They're just, it's like again, I've said it before, the meme of two retards fighting. I don't care. They can fight each other. That's fine. They're all on the left and they all hate each other. That's more power to them. I mean, whatever. Hassan's a roach. I would agree with that take, yes.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we can like endlessly talk about him, but he doesn't deserve that much of attention.
No, and that's the one thing that I hate covering him, is because like I don't watch his content. I really don't want anybody else to, but I have no control over that. But it's just, yeah, he's completely pathetic. Was H3 the one that was joking about that kind of stuff? No. Not sure.
Such thing. I mean, I don't watch him as well, but I never heard about that. Other creators are covering him.
Yeah, I've never heard anything about Ethan Klein in that. He's the one that's married to an Israeli chick. She was in the IDF, and so that's a big, because Israel Palestine. That's like a hot button issue with that whole group of people. So someone joked about being, I believe them. Well, I mean, yeah, if someone's going to joke about that, then take them at their face value, I guess. All right, I'm going to plug Empress's channel here one more time. I'm going to drop the link down below. Make sure you follow her. She also does live streams and gaming streams on her gaming channel, so go check her out there. You have any thoughts on any of this before we go, or?
Oh, well, guys, I'm going to be actually on Saturday Night Hypnosis.
That's right. She has to get up at the, well, not even butt crack of dawn. You have to get up before dawn.
Yeah, 3 a.m. Have to get up at 3 a.m. and by 4 a.m. have to be on the show. So that's something big for me. So I'm gonna do it, guys. But
That
yeah,
is
otherwise,
fantastic.
what I cover, like the 40K, the gaming stuff, it's I mean, my channel is basically like Thibaut's channel, similar to that. You can go watch that if you're more interested in that. I'm trying to get to monetization, just 1,600 hours left.
It's a slog. If not for Sweet Baby Inc. and Gamergate 2, this channel wouldn't have ever been monetized. My other channel actually got monetized more organically because it was like slow growth over time with a couple of videos that perform well. But yeah, it's a tough time right now with algorithm, and so like we talked about before with when I hit 10K, I hit a wall, and this like the last few months have been like, whew, it's been rough. So
Yeah, and lastly, my channel that is about the superhero stuff is called Superhero Truth. So you should be able to find it on YouTube. It has Superman on the logo.
okay, perfect. And you have that linked on your other channel, right?
Yeah. I just I had to like prepare before that, but I just it's so new and just haven't prepared yet.
That's all good. I'm always looking at something that I haven't updated in 6 months that I thought was still working and it's not, or that linked to the right thing or whatnot. So
Oh yeah, know how that feels.
yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. It was great.
Oh, of course. I'm glad you were able to make it. I'm glad that we actually got through the entire segment because I am like rubbing my eyes here. Like I'm functioning better than I thought I would on no sleep, but I'm definitely looking forward to laying down and getting some rest. So
Go get horizontal.
oh, I'm going to as soon as we're done here. I'm gonna go walk the dog and go dive into bed. So.
Great.
All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for being awesome as always. Thank you guys for the super chats and memberships, and make sure to go check out 40K Empress, and we will catch you guys on the next one. All right.
Thank you.